All right, everybody. Welcome to episode 5 of Stirring the PotKast. I'm here with my friend Pete, and we're going to talk about some shit today.
A lot of shit.
Lots of music. most likely it'll predominantly be a music-related discussion because that's what we know.
Mm-hmm.
But we both actually like sports too, so there might be a little bit of that.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. Anyway, how you been, man?
Good. How about yourself?
I've been good. Staying out of trouble, doing the podcast, homeschool, all that stuff, working, and same shit, different day.
Yeah, I've just been I've switched since the last time I saw you. I switched jobs 2 times.
Last thing I remember, you were at Maury's.
Yeah, I no longer work there.
Okay.
And then I was at Blue Rock, and now I'm at a place in Canton.
What's Blue Rock?
It's a sports bar out by.
Where the Beef O'Brady's was or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you at now then?
The Sioux Valley Grill in Canton.
Okay. How's that going?
Great.
You guys live in Canton, right?
No, I don't really live that far from you. I live, like, if you just take Cliff past the 229, it's like right before Renner.
Oh, okay. It was Renner, not Canton.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just bought our house in December.
Okay.
So.
Very nice.
Yeah.
How's that going? Lots of remodeling
and just maintenance.
Maintenance and
not
stuff.
so much. We're gonna be putting a fence in the backyard and all that exciting shit.
Nice.
We got a dog. Like 2020 was a kick-ass year for us. We bought our house. We got my wife got her dream dog. She got a French bulldog.
Very nice.
I mean, I didn't kill anybody in the kitchen. So, getting close a couple times, but.
How's the wife doing? Where's she working these days?
She works at a place called MetaBank. She's
okay.
She's like a case analyst or some shit. I don't know.
Okay.
She works at home, so.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Can't go wrong with that.
That was another thing we did. We gutted our basement and built her an office and myself an art studio. And just a chill little spot. Another place to keep my toys.
Sure.
My terrible collection of toys.
How many toys do you got?
Oh, God.
Hundreds? Thousands?
I think if we did a dollar value, we're probably sitting close to $20,000.
How many individual items then?
Probably like 500 Funko Pops, 200 Marvel Legends, Masters of the Universe, like the original ones. I got Skeletor, Beastman, and then like they came out with like an anime series in I want to say it was like 2003.
It was that more futuristic style? I think I remember that.
I think I got almost all the ones from that one.
Okay.
And then I have like a bunch of like DC characters and just shit that I don't need, but I have a lot of it.
But it's cool to get it and look at it, and it brings you like a sense of nostalgia or something, right?
Well, yeah,
that's what it is for me.
That's why I collect toys. It's just because I grew up watching G.I. Joe, Transformers, GoBots. The hell was that one with Lionel and
the Thundercats? Yeah. They did a remaster of that show recently or something. I've been watching the old one on Hulu.
And then I was a huge G.I. Joe guy. Like when I was little, you wouldn't see me without handfuls of those things, and my pockets were full of them. I'm just like, I didn't talk to people until I was like 8 years old. So I don't need you. I have my own world.
I got toys, dog.
So now it's just like we were talking earlier. They decided to make a 6-inch action figure that's fully articulated of all my favorite characters, like Destro, Snake Eyes, Duke, Roadblock, and they're not easy to get.
And they're expensive.
Cheap. Yeah, like I got the 5 that I wanted for Valentine's Day, and my wife was like, "Don't ask, because I'm not telling you how much it costs." I was like, oh, well.
That's all right though. It's nice to. Everybody's got to have a thing, right? You know what I mean? Like you got gun nuts, they collect their guns. You got gearheads that collect like guitars and amps and shit. You got PC people that build computers for every room of the house. You know what I mean? Everybody's got something.
Yeah, I got my art and I got my toys. I guess it does center me. It makes me feel like there's a sense of excitement when you go out on a hunt and you can find what you're looking for, or if you come across something completely out of what you were looking for, and you're just like, oh, this is a nice little find.
Yeah.
And I don't spend a ton of money doing it, but I did when I was working with you. Like every penny was just like, here, Hasbro, take my money. Fuck you. It was rough, but I mean, I suppose when it gets to a point in like the next like 10 years, if I sell it, it's gonna be worth some money.
Right, the return could be definitely worth it.
You know, or if the kids want it, just like go ahead. I mean, target practice, whatever you want to do with them. I just like looking at them. Like, I don't know.
It's cool to have stuff like that. My dad, when I was a kid, collected like NASCAR cars. They would come in like a Hot Wheels style or whatever, but they'd come with like a little display thing or whatever that you could put them on. But and then like a playing card or whatever, like a trading card or whatever, if you will. And my dad collected the shit out of those growing up.
I have a terrible obsession with like when I get fixated on something, that's all it is. Like, so my favorite, like, I guess my favorite comic book character would be Captain America. So like when they started making the movies and the stuff became more accessible, and then like so the Legends toy line started out with Toy Biz, and then it switched over to Hasbro. And when Hasbro got it, they really made the figures cool.
Sure.
I have like 35 Captain Americans. Like, what the fuck, bro? I have a bookshelf in our living room about that wide, and he's got his own shelf, and it's just covered in Captain America shit, like Funko Pops, Legends. Like my buddy Mike, who lives in Ohio now, he's got it was a statue that kind of looked like an Oscar, but it's Captain America. I have that now. So,
well, I didn't know I needed this, but now I know I need this.
Well, he gave it to me. He's like, I don't want this fucking thing. He's like, but I know you have an obsession with Captain America. I mean, I'm not gonna say no.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like you scored.
Well, it's just like the way things have been happening, I guess, through COVID, if you want to put it. You have to have something to focus on that's positive, and if it's toys, or like you said, if it's buying gear or whatever, or even buying vinyl.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
There's been some great fucking music that's been coming out since even like the start last year in March.
Sure. One of my friends just posted a picture the other day. He posted a picture of some new vinyl he got. He got like a live copy of NoFX playing The Decline somewhere. And I was like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah,
I want that album.
It's really fucking good.
Dude, just The Decline in general is just a good album. Like, if you could hear that live, that would be super cool.
Boy, and at Red Rocks.
At Red Rocks, yeah.
Yeah, so that would have been, well, Fat Records in itself, they went ham last year. In 2020, they put out some of the best music I've heard in probably 20 years.
That's pretty solid.
Like with the Suicide Machine.
That was a good fucking album.
The new Pears album, the Bomb Pops, Bad Cop. Listen, Jake, I think they're still on that.
That wouldn't surprise me. I think they left for a little bit maybe and came back or something.
Yeah, I think they're on Fat, but there were so many bands from like the 95 to 2000 era that everybody, well, I don't really like that band, but everybody adored them. Like Goldfinger put out an album in 2020.
A lot of people talk shit about Goldfinger, but as soon as Superman comes on, everybody's going nuts.
Right? It would have got put on Tony Hawk.
Exactly.
The revamp of it or whatever. And how do you not like Goldfinger? You don't like Goldfinger, you should go back to whatever country you fucking originated from. And like I got to see Goldfinger when I lived in New York. And super nice guys. Super nice guys.
John Feldman seems like he would just be like the nicest guy ever.
Well, the funny thing is we got to the venue and it was like at a Sam Ash guitar store. And it was outside under a tent.
They still have those?
Not here. The last time I saw them was like in Minneapolis.
Okay.
But I think it went under.
That wouldn't surprise me.
But so they had the show under a tent, and there was a California Pizza Kitchen right next to the Sam Ash. So I was like, I'm gonna go get some lunch before the show. And the dork that I am, I fixate on, like when I find a band, I'm just like, I gotta know everything about this. Even if they only have one record, I'm gonna fucking dive into this band and I'm gonna make sure that I choke it to death. And then everybody around me is gonna be like, dude, if I have to listen to that fucking record one more time, we're not friends. Yeah, motherfucker. It's so we go to the California Pizza Kitchen and there stands John Feldman. And I'm just like, dude. And they're like, what? Like, it's John Feldman from Goldfinger. And he notices me geeking out. He turns around. And I didn't want to go bother him because he was eating lunch. I was just like, holy shit. I didn't bother him, but he did turn around and he waved at me. And I was like, oh, cool. Cool. So,
little victories.
That show was like Mephistopheles.
My God.
From like the late 90s.
Did they play Bumblebee too now?
Yeah.
That's like that's like one of my fucking anthem bands from high school.
Mephistopheles, Show Off from Chicago, which I didn't know I was going to like them, but fuck, they were good live. And Goldfinger headlined, and they played last. I think they're about done with their set, and I think they were playing 99 Red Balloons. He stops in the middle of the song, and he's like, and the entire front of the crowd is just I don't know if you'd call it a pit, but it was just wall to wall assholes and elbows and people just getting fucking smashed. And he's like, hey, I had lunch with that kid earlier today. He points right at me. He's like, be nice to him. He's a nice kid. As a matter of fact, I don't remember the guitar tech's name, but he was like, grab him, get him up on stage. And they grabbed me, got me up on stage, and he's like, go have a beer with Darren, the drummer. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, I'll do that.
And then they finished 99 Red Balloons, and he's like, you want to hang out or you want to jump into the concrete abyss? And I was like, well, I'll go jump. And I landed right on the concrete. Like, there's people, and it just split. And it just,
oh, God. My one time going for that, like, I was, like, so excited. I was like, oh, I'm going to finally do it. And then you get out there, and it's like, oh, fuck yeah. Then all of a sudden, you just hit the ground, and it's done.
I caught, like, two girls, and I smashed, like, their vertebrae, and they just dropped me, and I hit the ground like a ton of bricks, and I was like, oh, I'm okay. I wasn't okay. But like, the bands that have put out music just in the last year alone, bands that I didn't think I'd ever hear from again. Like Less Than Jake, they hadn't put it on now in, I want to say it was 10 years.
It feels like it had been a while.
Yeah.
I even like a lot of that last stuff they were putting out, I wasn't really listening to. I liked that In Without Crowd album, but there was a lot of songs on it that I didn't really dig because they're more foray into the mainstream pop of things, kind of, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, there was still some killer fucking songs on there that you can't help but sing along.
Well, and on their new album that they put out, I think it was the same day of my birthday, December 12th is when their new album came out.
Oh, damn.
And I was just like, well, this is a birthday present in itself.
No shit.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
This is exactly what I wanted this year. But like how this whole discussion started with you and I was like that La Coca Nostra thing that I posted.
Oh yeah.
So one of the guys from La Coca Nostra is his name's Slane. He's an actor, and like I don't know how he got his start in music. I think it's from Danny Boy from House of Pain. But he just put out an album. He's a recovering alcoholic and drug addict. So is Danny, and his new album he put it out like 2 months ago. That's all I've listened to.
Nice.
For the last like 5 days. A good 35 times.
That's a lot.
Oh, when I find something, Bob, I kill it.
I don't even want to tell you what I've been listening to then.
Why not?
I've been spinning the fuck out of that MGK pop punk album.
There's nothing, dude. So, Victoria, my wife, she's like, it's good. I'm like, no, it's not. It's MGK, and he can go fuck himself. Because he's a terrible actor. And I liked his, like, I think it was his first, like, commercial record called Laced Up.
Okay.
I liked that. And then he started, like, being more, like, present in my mind, and I was like, no, I don't like him. And then I saw him at a Soundset in 2016. I think it was the last year I went, and it was horrible. Like he went on right before Prof,
Oh,
and it was just like like all the people who were there to see MGK that day, and I was just like, "You're here to see MGK? I'm here to see Common and Atmosphere, and then I'm going home. I don't need this shit in my life." Like we saw Common, and then right after Common got done, Atmosphere started, and I was like, I'm good. I had my day in the sun. It was like 106 fucking degrees that day,
oh yeah, that's hot as fuck.
and I was like, I don't know. But also when you're like, that MGK album's good, man. I was like, Bob said it's good. It's got to be all right. So I was like, fuck it. Snuck on Spotify when everybody was in bed. Put my earbuds in. I was like, fuck it is good.
It's
really
like,
fucking good.
It's good in the sense that like if that would have came out like in the heyday of pop punk, that would be on pop punk Mount Rushmore. You know what I mean? Like it contains elements of all that. So obviously if it was written back then, but a lot of people are hearing it now at at the age of 40, and they're like, what the fuck is this shit?
And I don't give a fuck who hears that I say that I like it. I don't care what people think of my musical taste. I'll listen to fucking anything.
That's good. That's good to feel that way.
But like I said, when I find something and I like it, I run it in the fucking ground to the point where you don't want to hear it ever again. It's like, I'm pretty sure if I was to take a little bit of time and listen to that MGK record, that's what I'd do. I'd run it into the goddamn dirt.
Oh yeah, I really liked the concert for Aliens. That song was super cool. Plus, he's got a pink guitar like my daughter, but his is a Schecter.
Yeah, I don't know, he's a talented guy, and I think he just went the right way with it. And he had Travis with him. I mean,
He was helpful.
You can't go wrong having Travis Barker
No.
drum for you, or
A lot of
even
people
help you right.
Exactly. I know a lot of people thought MGK was kind of like a punk poser or whatever, but like that dude actually likes that kind of music and shit. So like I initially kind of was like, why is this dude dressed like this if he's like a hip hop artist? But that was also me being kind of closed minded because like hip hop and punk have had roots with each other for a long time.
Well, like the Minneapolis scene, like it just gels together, like the Rhymesayers crew and all the punk bands. Like you, at any given time, like back when we could go to live shows.
Oh man,
you could see
they're coming back.
You could see Slug from Atmosphere at a D4 show, or vice versa. You could see those guys at an Atmosphere show. It was just because the way that Rhymesayers started was it's the DIY punk ethic.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe it was his second album, Seven Travels. He was on Epitaph.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Like, I don't know if it was like a distribution deal or whatever, but Epitaph put out that record, or helped him anyways.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and he was on the Warped Tour. That's how I found him. It was like 2000, and we're walking through, and I hear hip hop music, and then at the Warped Tour. Back until like 2006, it was pretty much all punk rock.
Right.
Maybe a little bit of metal. Every so often there might be some kind of hip hop, but not real often.
Right. You'd find
like
more
before
ska than
Eminem came
hip-hop.
around, yeah. But I was like, what is that? Is that just on the PA somewhere? And I just tuned my ear in, and I just walked to the stage, and then, oh shit, there's a white guy playing hip hop, like really good hip hop. And I was like, well, I'm into this. So then I dove fucking feet first into the whole Minneapolis like Rhymesayers crew, and that was another album that came out. Was that? Yeah, it was in November. The new Aesop Rock album. Fuck, good.
That dude is pretty good. I wouldn't say that I know like a bunch about his catalog, but like the songs that I have heard, like he's solid as fuck. He's got like a good educated flow. He's
one of the smartest fucking dudes in the music industry.
That's what I like though, is like smart people that. I don't like this mumble rap shit that's out these
music.
days. No, it's bad. It's bad. If you want to listen to it, that's fine. That's your prerogative, but that ain't for me.
Shouldn't, though.
You should.
You got to your ears. Like, come on. It's just,
I was really hard against dubstep for a long time, and then I realized, like, you know, a computer can be an instrument if you're programming things and coming up with them, like notes and shit like that. I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Stevie Aoki.
Oh yeah,
That guy kills it.
yeah, he's good. He's good. He did a lot of collaborations with
He's
Blink.
more of that, whatever they call it, club or I don't even know. Like
house music. Yeah, house music.
But I don't mind that shit.
It's not bad.
I watched the movie Hackers, man. I'm into it. So it's just like I grew up. My first love was Kiss.
Okay.
And to me, like the progression from Kiss to like Motley Crue, and Motley Crue was like a fucking punk band. I thought like their first 2 albums, those guys were a punk rock band.
They definitely dressed the part, like they were glam, but they were punk.
Yeah, then they got a little girly, sleazy, like an STD, if you will.
A little too much cocaine.
Or all of it, whatever. I mean, it was the 80s, and that's what people were doing.
Yeah. I'm not here to judge. Have fun, you know?
But, like from Kiss to Motley Crue, and then I found the harder side of rock and roll music, like Iron Maiden, which they're not really all that hard, but Iron Maiden, Motorhead, and then I found Anthrax. And to me, Anthrax, and then they were just starting to do like the rap metal shit, like with Public Enemy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then I found hip hop, and now it's all about like House of Pain and EPMD, and like my weekends were set. I'd watch Young TV Raps on Friday nights, Headbangers Ball on Saturday nights, and then 120 minutes on Sunday nights. That's what I would do. I wouldn't fucking leave the house, except for maybe to go get high. But other than that, I would like, I didn't have any friends in high school because I didn't want to hang out with anybody. I wanted to listen to music.
That's where I'm at right now. Like, it's not that I don't want to hang out with anybody. I'm so comfortable at home. Like, I'm in my castle, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I'm relaxing. Like, I can do almost anything that I want at home. There are things I want to do outside of home and stuff, but I mean, like, I've got so many friends that it's hard to keep up with them all. So sometimes I almost feel like if I hang out with one of them, it's like, fuck, man, what about the other ones? They're going to be like, well, why don't you hang out with us? And it's like, so I just usually wait till people hit me up because I've got so many friends, you know? Sometimes it's easier that way.
I keep my circle small, man. I got my wife and my kids, and some of the people I work with, I don't ever hang out with anybody that I work with, though.
Sure.
Like, well, I have to work 4 days a week, and we're 10-hour days.
Oh, long days.
But I spend enough time with them at work. I don't need to call them up and like, hey, you want to hang out today? No, I'm good, dude. I got shit to do.
Well, that's kind of the thing is like the work and home balance is like work is supposed to be there so you can get away from home for a little bit because you'd go crazy if you were at home 24/7 every single day.
I'd chew my fucking hands off if I would have got furloughed, like when it all started. I would have been like
the money was nice.
It came real close. Like we cut everybody. That's when I was working at Maury's, and they cut everybody except for the 2 salary guys and me. Everybody else got cut, and I was like, well, dodge that bullet.
No shit.
Kinda. But yeah, you have to have somewhere to go where it's not the same all the time.
Yeah, it breaks up the monotony.
But that's the first thing I want to do when I get off work. I'm like, well, now it's like a 20-minute drive, but throw on a podcast or listen to Slane for the 900th time. Drive home, get home, and relax. Like I have everything set up right. I have my art studio downstairs, and my wife's work office is right next. We have like a little divider in between, but we have a record player right in between both stations.
Sure.
And we have a record player upstairs, and I got a vinyl collection that would make a lot of people cry. I spent a lot of money on it, but like I got everything from the late 90s that I needed, like Bouncing Souls, second record. What else did I get recently? Civ from Gorilla Biscuits. He did his own like side or solo project, but it was still all the dudes from Gorilla Biscuits. They just went by Civ. I got that recently, and it's like there's nothing better than putting on a record from like 1997 and just zoning out.
Dude, music on vinyl. I actually was always kind of curious, like why it seems like it sounds better, but like someone explained it to me as like, so you got like a song and you record it in the studio, right? And you have the full spectrum of that song. Well, then you bounce it, and like let's say you had like X to X right there, and it cuts off the ends of it just a little bit. Every time that you do that, like so, like if we go to the studio down to like vinyl, which is like the highest quality after like studio sound, basically. You get the full spectrum of that sound, but like MP3s and cassettes, those are even more like further compressed. So like a lot of these MP3s sometimes will be super weird to the fact that like they'll be super quiet compared to like the original version of the song.
Yeah. Well, that's the only way I listen to music is I stream it or at home. Like I haven't bought a CD in probably 10 years.
I buy them randomly from Last Stop. If I see like a nostalgia CD specifically and I see it and it's only $8, it's like, well, I'm just gonna grab it real quick.
Well, I don't have a CD player in my car. I have Sirius or whatever it's called.
They don't put CD players in cars anymore.
I know, isn't that fucking stupid?
You gotta pay for that.
No, I just lied to you and I apologize. I got the Judge CD anthology on one CD. Judge is a hardcore band from New York.
Okay.
And I got that for Christmas. And my wife's car's got a CD player, but my car doesn't. So I'm like, hey, can I take your car today? I'm gonna go listen to some New York hardcore really fucking loud. And she's like, okay, whatever. Just don't crash my car.
Oh, man.
But it's just, I don't know. If they don't bring back live shows, I don't. Like we got season tickets to the Canaries game this year, and that was one of the first things they kind of opened back up last summer.
Sure.
And I went to like 3 or 4 of them, and it was great. So I'm a huge baseball fan.
Baseball in person is a lot of fun. I can't stand watching it on TV because it takes 3 times longer.
I'm the same guy that baseball in any format, whether it be in person, on TV, or even the radio. I can sit there and listen to an entire game on the radio and just zone out and just be like, because like the crack of the bat and like the crowd's kind of hushed in the background. I mean, you can still.
So
hear
baseball
them.
is like your favorite sport to listen. Okay. That's basketball for
like,
me.
Football, I can't do.
I can only watch
Like
like
on
my
the radio,
teams.
anyways.
What's that?
Like on the radio, I can't do football.
Oh, sure. I can't watch a whole lot of football. I'm a Vikings fan, which is hard enough as it is. But like, I like to watch the Vikings games, and then like, I watch some other games. But when it comes to NBA, I will watch any team play because I love watching people make threes and driving and cutting and dropping people with their fucking
Playing
ankles.
in paint, man. Playing in paint. You gotta get him in
Damn
paint.
it! Shoot it! Shoot the J!
You bathe yourself in the lake.
Prince, serious?
Yep. Game with the blouses.
Have some pancakes. He really was good at basketball, though. They've actually recently confirmed this. Like, several people have.
All those stories that Charlie Murphy did on this Chappelle show were 100% real. They elaborated a little bit on it.
He sometimes changed people's names, too.
Yeah. But Charlie Murphy had a good time.
Dude, I love Charlie Murphy. I miss that dude so much. Like, I was so sad. Like Charlie Murphy and Chadwick Boseman, both those dudes, like, just out of nowhere. We had cancer. Now we're dead. It's like, holy shit.
Another fantastic part of 2020. That's when Charlie Murphy died, wasn't it?
I feel like Charlie Murphy died.
Or was it a while ago?
Charlie Murphy died longer than that, but Chadwick Boseman did die, like, in 2020.
Yeah.
The dude still, like, shot, like, 5 or 6 other movies while he had cancer and
while
shit,
he was
too.
dying, yeah.
Holy shit, man. He definitely like, immediately became one of the greatest actors just from that in my eyes. I was like, how some of these dudes can't balance this shit for anything, and you balanced your life with 4 or 5, 6 movies and your fucking cancer at the same time. Like, holy shit, and nobody knew?
When he was in, just the Marvel movies alone. Some of the biggest movies that have ever been made.
Yes.
Like, just being part of the MCU. Like, and I think he was the lowest paid actor in that franchise.
That's fucked up. Should have been Paul Bettany.
You got your RDJs and your Chris Evans. I mean, You got to pay the pretty boys.
Right. I think Chris Evans is going to come back. I saw that he. I didn't see anything confirmed specifically, but there's like a chance or something.
Supposedly last week or 2 weeks ago, Feige came on and he's like, it's bullshit. It's just a rumor. It's not going to happen. But they also, Feige dropped the ball like when they released Endgame. He's like, no major characters die. Like he was trying to be like an anti-spoiler type thing, and he was just like, it's going to be monumental, and it's really going to set the pace for the next phase of the Marvel universe. You killed everybody, dude. What do you mean? You killed every damn body.
What's the next phase? A funeral?
Well, they did at the very end of the movie. Like, oh, Iron Man's fucking dead. Now what? And then
I'd be cool if his daughter comes up and picks up the helm like sometime in the future, but I don't want it to be forced.
They keep talking that. So, I believe it was Iron Man 2. It was 2 or 3. I think it was 2. Where that little kid's in the Iron Man mask and the crazy robot that Whiplash or whatever the fuck his name was made he was gonna destroy like the world fair that they're at.
It's been so long since I've seen that one. I just remember, was it Mickey Rourke in the beginning of the movie?
Whiplash. The worst / best actor ever. He was in The Fucking Wrestler, man. That movie's great.
Dude, he's a hell of an actor. Been in some shitty movies.
So there's a scene where the little kid's got an Iron Man mask on, and he's got like a little hand thing, and he holds it up to the monster that's going to destroy him. So at Endgame, at Iron Man's funeral, he's at the very end. The little kid's grown up now. It was probably 10, 12 years ago, but he's like a teenager now. The rumor is that he's supposed to take up the Iron Man mantle.
Oh, I don't.
But they're putting out, I want to say in 2022, they're putting out the next Iron Man movie, which now I've seen so many fake.
Black Widow yet?
And supposedly in July.
What the fuck?
Supposedly.
We might get something before they shoot a new movie.
Well, have you watched WandaVision?
So I watched all of WandaVision. Mindfuck.
The first 2 episodes are unfucking watchable.
Oh, it was awful. It was awful.
I literally had to watch the first 2 episodes 3 different times because the first time I was just like,
am I missing something?
I just turned it off. I was like, you got me, fuckers. You got me. So and then I just started rewatching it. And then the second time I fell asleep. And the third time I finally stayed awake enough. And I was like, oh, that was really bad. And then I blasted that shit on the internet, like every American, like,
oh, this shit.
I watched that show, and it was a piece of shit. And then all my friends just belittled me. They're just like, oh, how dare you say that? I'm like, well, I said it with my big fucking mouth. Because that's what I do. If you're going to be offended, then you shouldn't be friends with me or talk to me. But, and then I got into, like, episode 2, and I was just like, oh, wow. But my buddy that lives in Ohio, he was like, you got to just keep it on, man. Just watch it. He's like, episode 3, it's going to get better.
Yeah, it really came around in that one.
It's like, and then like episode 4, you're going to like it. He's like, by episode 5, you're going to be hooked. I was like, you're full of shit.
By the end of the series, I was crying.
Yeah. But Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I just saw the second episode this weekend.
I
Pretty
watched
cool.
it this morning.
I don't know if this is a spoiler alert, but
fuck you if you haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I don't like this guy that's playing the new Captain America.
Oh, okay. So earlier, I have a Captain America fetish, if you will. But Steve Rogers, that's my dude.
Right.
This guy's not Steve Rogers. Obviously, because Steve Rogers is dead because he's old or whatever the fuck happened.
They didn't. I didn't feel like they clarified that. They made it seem like maybe he had finally passed away now that he was old or something. But well,
he went back. Like when he went back to take all the stones where they needed to be, he then decided to go to his alternate universe / future.
Right.
And then when he came back, he had switched his reality to the point where he got to be with
Agent Carter. Yeah.
And he got to live his life the way he wanted to. And that's why he brings the shield to Sam and saying, he's like, Sam, this is yours now. And then Sam's like, well, it feels like somebody else's. And then at the end of the first episode of Winter Soldier, or Falcon and Winter Soldier, they give it to that fucking new guy.
Yeah. He reminded me of Ralph Dibny from The Flash.
Well, what it reminded me of is the movie Up, that Pixar movie.
Okay.
He looked like the old dude with the fucking captain hat on.
It's the fucking nose and jawline, right? Yeah. It's unfortunate to judge people by looks, but you can't help it sometimes, you know? Like, if there's just something about him, he doesn't look like he should be Captain America.
I'm not petty, so I don't have a problem with it. The dude's fucking ugly. Captain America is supposed to represent America. He's supposed to fight for America. He's supposed to represent us. He's supposed to look like an all-American fucking model.
He should have superpowers, too. At least, like, the super soldier serum or something.
Well, so, the way I look at it, since they brought this ugly dude in, and he's Captain America, and he doesn't have the serum, they're going to off his ass. Bucky's probably going to off his ass.
I could get behind that.
Hell yeah. Like,
he was a prick at the end of that last episode. Like, oh, just stay out of my way.
Okay, buddy. Because those other two dudes, well, Falcon I don't think has a serum either, but I think, like in the comic books, correct me if I'm wrong, dorks, but I'm pretty sure he has the serum in the comic books.
Bucky? Or Falcon?
Falcon.
Oh, I guess I don't know. I actually had never heard of the Falcon before the Marvel Universe. Like, I loved comic books, but, like, I was very closed in my comic books. I liked Spider-Man.
Nothing wrong with that.
And that was about it.
Like, his original costume, like, it kind of, like, if you were to look at that character, you're like, oh, I bet you his favorite band is ABBA.
What the fuck?
Because he's got, like, this red and white, like, leotard jumpsuit that his chest is cut out, and, like, he's got, like, these, like, plastic cloth wings, and, like, oh, I'll show you.
So he looks like Dayman.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture.
Or Nightman. The Nightman.
It's just, but when they, since Disney, or not Disney, but the MCU, when they created the universe, excuse me, they could only do so much with the rights of the characters because they only bought so much of it.
Right.
So they had to, like, develop what they look like, and they could only steal so much of their looks.
Right.
And they wanted to make it updated. Like, I have a whole gripe about that. Like, how come Hawkeye's not in a costume? Like,
yeah, he just runs around in a fucking some body armor or something, kind of.
No, he's just in a fucking, like, purple.
Like one of those Archer shirts or something.
Yeah. He's just in a leather jacket. He's just a badass. But, you know, put the characters in their costumes. Don't wreck the bad guys. Like, make the bad guys who they're supposed to be and make them look like who they're supposed to be. Like, we were talking before we started about Transformers. Like, the Transformer movies, to me, they look like mechanical dogs and cats. Granted, they were supposed to be aliens, so I guess whatever. But Ultron looks like a fucking mechanical cat. That's not what Ultron looked like. He was mean looking, scary looking. He was like a mechanical skull. With a body, but a mechanical skeleton. But now he just looks like a sissy. Like,
a lot of those Transformer movies, fuck man, I thought Shia LaBeouf did a good job back in the day.
When they lost him, they lost it. And then they got fucking Marky fucking.
I saw that one in the theaters actually. I went and seen it, and I was like, oh, this could be all right.
Like, they did that standalone Bumblebee movie. And I'm going all over the fucking place, but that standalone Bumblebee movie, like the first 10 minutes of it, just awesome. All the characters look like they did from the cartoon, but like more modernized, and it's just badass. And then John Cena shows up, and you're like, well, this is fucking terrible.
It's John Cena.
I can't see him. But I'm seeing him. He's wrecking this fucking movie, man. Well, back to, like, more nerd shit. So when I texted you this morning, I was just like, oh, I want to see the new Suicide trailer. The Suicide Squad.
Oh, yeah.
Number 2.
I didn't even know they were making another one.
He's in that.
Oh, really?
and it actually looks pretty funny.
Okay.
Like Idris Elba or whatever from the Thor movies, he's in it. Like, I guess Will Smith's not in it at all, which is kind of a bummer.
Right.
Like,
I like Will Smith.
did you get too crazy with your weird Scientology shit? Like, you can't do movies anymore? Will?
I didn't know he was into Scientology.
Yeah, him, Tom Cruise.
I know Tom Cruise because he got like super serious with it.
John Travolta, which John Travolta's a punk rocker. Did you know that?
No.
He fucking loves punk rock.
Nice.
So, but I guess he's getting out of Scientology because, like, one of their beliefs, besides like their weird Martian god or whatever the fuck it is. But if I'm offending Scientologists, fuck you. You're Scientologists, you'll get over it. But there's certain parts of the beliefs or their religion, like you can't, like, his wife got cancer and his kid died, so he let his fucking family die
Holy shit.
because they don't take medical advice or whatever, or some shit like that. I don't know the exact story, but
I'm sure they'll send me something.
so his entire
They send everybody else something when they fucking talk about them even a little bit.
Well, you could send us some shit. I'd like to know what your crazy shit's about. Like, is it like a space Mormon? Like, I don't understand. I don't get it.
I think that's exactly what it is.
Space Mormons. Fuck.
Oh, Mormons. Nothing. If you want to be religious, that's fine. I just think we should make fun of all of you equally.
Oh, I don't care what God you pray to or what color your skin is. I'm gonna make fun of you.
Yeah,
That's
equally
what I'm gonna
though.
do.
I'm gonna make fun of you, but I'll do it on an equal basis. I promise you
It's
that.
got nothing to do with your religion and the color of your skin. I'm blazing guns at everybody, man. Equal opportunity.
That's why Dave Chappelle is one of my heroes, because he just gives everybody shit. He doesn't care who they are, what color their skin is. He just gives it to everybody.
Well, I mean, in comedy, that's how it should be.
Absolutely.
If you can't take the joke, well, then that's the key phrase. It's a joke, motherfucker. Laugh. Like, people are just too uptight. Like, the whole George Floyd thing during the middle of COVID. Black Lives Matter. Yes, they do. All lives matter. Black, Asian, white. I don't give a fuck. Everybody's lives matter.
Right.
And he had a perfect take on it. He was just like, a lot of people thought he was going to go the route of like, oh, let's get on the bandwagon of Black Lives Matter. He's like, no, dude. He's a human. His life mattered not because of the color of his skin or because the officer was white and he was black. None of that has to do with anything. He died senselessly. Which, let's get to the point of it. That's exactly what happened. Now, we come to find out that George might have had a drug problem, and his heart might have just given out on him, but still, you can't kneel on somebody's throat for 9 minutes.
Exactly. Like, it's like when people say that, oh, they didn't die from COVID, they died from diabetes, and it's like, that's fucking bullshit. People live to be 90 to 100 years old with
Walter
diabetes.
Brimley's fucking...
Walter Brimley!
just fucking died, like, 6 months ago or whatever it was.
I just find
that
it...
was in his 90s, wasn't he? 80s,
He was
90s?
pretty old.
And
Yes, he was very old.
they should rename it to Libby. You don't always die from it.
I just find it disingenuous, like all the conspiracy theorists that goes, they're just reporting all these deaths as COVID, and it's like, maybe that, I wouldn't be surprised if there was happening, because I know that they found some hospitals that were shut down or whatever that were still getting like COVID relief funds and shit. But like at the same...
A conspiracy theorist at the end of the day, they don't have anything to talk about, so COVID's going to be the next subject.
Right.
Because 9/11 happened 20 years ago. And you should fucking... I'm a conspiracy theorist, Bob. I'm straight up with you. I don't believe any of this shit. But
I believe some.
The ones that
It depends on what it is.
The ones that I find myself like knee deep in, I'm just like, oh man. Oh, what did I do? What did I do? Now I can't get out of it. Like, two of my friends from Aberdeen have a conspiracy podcast, and they would bring up a subject, and I would just go balls into it, and I'd just dig and dig and dig, and then I'd be like, I can't do internet anymore today, and I'm fucking freaked out. I don't want to go outside. I don't. And then, so one of the guys, his name's Tyler. He sent me the video from they did a 9/11 one, and it was a hologram video. The video is from that era, like right after it happened, and it blows a lot of the points out of the water. Like those planes could not be traveling at 585 miles an hour below sea level. It can't happen. The physics of it, they wouldn't operate. Well, then they get into it was a hologram. I'm just like, oh, what if it's hologram? Hologram 9/11? Oh. Okay, if it was a hologram, then where did all these people go?
Yeah.
Oh, they sent them all to witness relocation. Like, oh, come on, man.
What about all that dust? Was that a hologram? All these people that have mesothelioma in New York State now? Fucking 20 years later.
Dude, I lost a friend that day because I used to live in New York. I literally moved home a month and a half before it happened. And I remember that day because the girl I was dating, she was still living there. And her stepdad was in Tower 2 and her real dad was in Tower 1. They both got out. But I just remember trying to get a hold of anybody and the phone lines were down. Like 20 minutes after it happened, you couldn't get a hold of anybody on the East Coast.
Oh, sure.
And it was just like, so for me, it's hard to stomach the 9/11 ones. But a lot of them, like a lot of the conspiracy theories really do have some footwork. Like,
Yeah.
There are some pretty crazy ones.
The 9/11 one specifically, like, is a little weird because, like, what the U.S. government put out as the official story back then, like, they've since backtracked on the official story.
Well, they had to. So when they signed the Patriot Act or whatever it was called, it's a give and take situation. They wanted things, so they had to give things.
Right.
In order to pass that giant creepy ass bill that just pretty much labeled everybody a terrorist.
Right.
Now, the things that are happening now today that people are complaining about, like the racism and this, that, and the other, that shit got set in motion 50 years ago.
Oh, sure.
It was prominent 20 years ago, but then we sign a bill where, hey, look at these guys are terrorists because they have darker skin and they wear different clothes than us. Like, what the fuck, man?
That was when at least in my lifetime, that was when I can trace a lot of things back to that moment in time. Because around that time after that happened, like Mexican people, Hispanics of all kinds were being like treated like Muslims and stuff too. Just because they might have a little bit darker skin, like everyone was treating everyone like a terrorist, and it's fucked up.
I moved home, but when I was living there, I lived on Long Island, and every gas station you go to is just like the movies or The Simpsons.
Bodegas.
Yeah, or like a poo. Like everybody talks like that, and it's a bit much to deal with at first. But I'm a white kid from the Midwest it was a culture shock when I moved there. But then you get used to it. It took me like 2 months to really like get my bearings, but then it was just second nature. But then I didn't see color anymore. I didn't see ethnicities. It was just they were just people.
Right.
So to like because you believe in or you pray to Allah and believe in Islam now you're a terrorist? Fuck you! You're a terrorist for saying that shit.
Well, that's the scariest shit. Is like 99.9% of the Muslims in the world do not subscribe to extreme Islam. Like, there's like, I want to say that at one point there was over like 1.6 billion Muslims in the world. If there were 1.6 billion people in the world that all wanted to attack everyone and do all that kind of shit, I know you give or take for women and children and stuff like that, but like, I think they would have had a little easier time than they've had if they had that many people that were that set on destroying the whole world.
Well, with conspiracy theories, especially 9/11, you have to really look into it without getting in over your head. And with conspiracy theories in themselves, you have to. I mean, they have to sit out there for 10 years before there's any weight whatsoever. Now, with the 9/11 one and what is it, 7 months or whatever, 20-year anniversary. Kind of a big deal. It's gonna be anticlimactic, I hope. But they're also saying there's rumblings that there could be another 9/11 type of situation that happens on 9/11. Now,
on 9/11?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah, well, hopefully I'm wrong. Which I'm sure I am. But I don't know, man. Like, conspiracy theories like the JFK one, that one's creepy. It's weird.
Which one?
Just
There's so many surrounding that whole situation.
Yeah. Well, and that's because one guy will sit in a room and he'll be like, oh, if they have a little bit of actual factual information, then it just gets turned. That's
Right.
not even conspiracy theories they're just theories. They're not, there's no weight to them.
Right.
Which is unfortunate. But the ones that do get debunked or actually stick when you throw the shit against the wall, people get fucking scared. So if the FBI and the CIA were actually exposed for what it really is, which I don't think the people in the U.S. alone could handle it.
Oh, definitely not.
Like, they're saying that we're supposed to be getting alien news this year.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to freak people the fuck out.
Oh, yeah.
Or if we find out, like, if Bigfoot's real, like, I'm not going outside anymore. No. I'm not going to national parks. I'm not going anywhere that doesn't have, like, a coffee shop.
Just stay out of Montana. You'll be fine. That's where he is.
Well, supposedly there's been sightings in South Dakota.
See, but I mean, it's pretty close. I think he likes to hang out in Montana. He just goes on vacation a little bit. Nothing too far.
If I was a Bigfoot, I would probably go to, like, Alaska for vacation.
I'd go to Saskatchewan.
Definitely.
Somewhere in Canada where it's nice and cold.
Maybe Bigfoot really wants to go to Jamaica, but he can't.
Oh, yeah, because it's just too hot.
Yeah.
You got so much
It's
hair.
too hairy.
Maybe he needs to get himself like a full mani-pedi and haircut, you know?
Just have a spa day.
Yeah. Come on, looking like fucking Brendan Fraser in Encino Man or some shit.
Weaseling the juice in Jamaica. Let's make this happen, Bigfoot.
Oh, man. That alien shit could be pretty cool, though.
I think it's going to be anticlimactic like everything else. Like,
oh, yeah,
because
absolutely.
even like with the Patriot Act or the whatever that fucking bill was called, when they gave us certain aspects of 9/11 and other things that they'd been covering up for years, like when they declassify documents. Yeah, they'll declassify a stack of documents this big on one thing, but you can read like 2 or 3 sentences.
Right.
The
Like
rest
the
of it's just all
JFK shit
flashy.
that was supposed to come on, like all that stuff was supposed to be declassified, all of it. But then like Donald Trump or whatever was all like, oh no, we still need to keep some of this shit classified.
But I think the general public would get way too freaked out. Like, I honestly think whatever's going on with the whole COVID thing, I think it's just too much.
Sure.
Like, the fear mongering in the media, like, people just don't want to see it.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the
100%.
Midwest, I think we've handled it probably the best. Maybe not the healthiest, but I think as a whole, I think we did the right thing. Like, we didn't cripple our economy. We didn't shut down. Like, California's still fucking locked down.
Oh, yeah.
A year and a half later. Or not a year and a half, but a year later, they're still fully locked down.
Right.
Like, the last time I heard, it was 20. Well, it started out at 22 or 26% of all small businesses permanently closed. Not just through COVID. Permanently closed their doors. Done. And then the last time I heard it was 44% of all small businesses have closed their doors, will not ever reopen.
Oh, yeah. Because those were the businesses that were hit the hardest, was all the small businesses.
Well, even things that were semi bigger level, like your restaurant, like that crippled a restaurant such as yourself.
Oh, yeah, we were the only, I just recently found out we were the only restaurant open after Minnesota was shut down, and we were paying the rent for all the stores. I was like, holy shit.
Hey, but in our line of work, you have to learn to adapt, and I think, like, living on the East Coast, they just started reopening, and now they're looking at another shutdown. Like, I can't imagine what that does to somebody's psyche, especially in working in a kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I've worked all the way through COVID so far, and it's been a fucking feat, man. It's beat on me, physically, mentally, but I've gotten through it. But I'm just happy to have a job, man. Like,
that's what I say every
day. I can pay my fucking bills, and I can buy a little plastic toys and I can fucking buy some records, man, I'm cool. Because NoFX put out a new record just a couple months ago, or a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's good.
A new one, or like something that they'd already
No,
had?
it's brand new.
Okay.
And they're putting out another one in November. So 2 records from NoFX this year. Which is
Mike
gonna be,
fell.
Uh-oh.
It's all good.
Put that back on my nipple.
Right on my nipple.
There we go.
Fucking get me there.
I can clip it to my nipple ring. But I'd have to take my shirt off, and then people will probably stop watching. But
And it might blend in with like the fucking. You got a lot of green in
yellow.
your tattoos.
It's over here yellow. But I don't know, man. It's 2020 was a drag, but I think some good's gonna come out of it. I don't know. I think the world needed to be reset. I think we need to just, like, for a pandemic to be the reason why people started washing their hands and not coughing on each other. Maybe you should have done that beforehand. We wouldn't have gotten this fucking far, man.
I mean, we essentially eliminated the flu with these measures.
Yeah, no shit. So, if we keep working towards the common goal of not necessarily getting rid of COVID, but if we can get to that point where we can, it'll probably be another 5-10 years, but if we can get the COVID numbers down like we get the flu numbers down, I mean, tit for tat, man. Maybe the flu thing is not such a big deal, but you don't know because the numbers aren't true because of how the media plays it up, or how
Right.
if the hospitals are getting money or whatever the fuck, man.
Right.
It is what it is, but I don't know. I've paced myself from it. My wife, she's a fucking saint. She has kept our family running, and she does that by not letting us fucking watch the news. I don't like watching the news anyways.
Oh yeah.
But
I like to keep up on current events, but I don't like to watch the news because of the way that they played it for you.
yeah. Well, it's like 10 pounds of shit on a 5-pound plate. It's like, I can't eat this much anyways. But I don't know, man. It's been weird. But let's get back to something more positive, like live shows.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to happen, man.
I know a lot of the local bands are already gearing up for the summer. I personally still feel weird about playing like indoor shows with lots of people, but like if I would have no qualms at all about playing like outdoor shows.
Corey Church?
Yep.
He's doing Four Winds again.
Yeah, I saw that they made a page for it this time.
It's going to be out, I believe that's outdoors.
Yeah.
So, and they're going to have the Levitt Band Show, whatever. They're going to have a full gamut this year. So, at least we'll get to go to those. I don't know if I want to go to like the district and have.
I got those tickets for the Rage Against the
shit.
Machine show that I have to use, and like I don't want to just waste that money, but I also don't necessarily. I know that the Denny got rid of all restrictions.
Oh.
100% of them. They're just going full capacity and everything now. They just said the other day.
See, my favorite kind of music like is punk and hardcore, and I would give my left testicle to go see a punk show right now, but not to get COVID and kill somebody in my family.
Well, that's the thing is like everyone says if you're like scared, just stay home. And it's like, well, that's kind of what I've been doing. I have heart problems, like you know what I mean. Like I could die. Like I could also get COVID at some point. You know what I mean? And like if it happens, it happens. You know what I mean? At this point, like eventually, most likely, most of us are gonna get it. But I'm not gonna actively seek out situations where it could be there.
With my current situation, I think working through this and everything, I'm pretty sure I got exposed to it, and I definitely think I had it.
Right.
But I just kept working. Now, be that a little bit careless, but at the end of the day, I got to pay my bills.
And also, at the end of the day, they don't in our line of work. Unfortunate to hear for people that eat at restaurants, but you don't. When you're sick, you don't necessarily just get to not come to work.
Yeah.
The management, a lot of times at a lot of restaurants, at least 99% of the restaurants that I've worked at, they're like, we just need you here.
Yeah.
That's all they're worried about. They're not worried about getting other people sick and shit. And like this was way before COVID. Nobody gave a shit. But now all of a sudden, like that, there was like government protections for people being sick. They're like, oh, you got to go home.
Then you'd have to get temped in. Like, oh, you have a 101 temp. That's not a temp.
It's hot as fuck in here. I'm standing over a broiler.
Yeah, it's August, and it's fucking 110 degrees in this kitchen. What? I'm gonna be a little warm. God damn it. But I don't know, man. It's as long as they bring back some sort of live, like it, my first route would be going back to baseball, and
that's a solid first step.
The Canaries games, I didn't know that they were that cool. And like last year when we went, there was probably the first one we went to, maybe 50, 60 people at it.
Okay.
But that was perfect.
Yeah.
Just perfect. Like watching, and the team still played as hard as they can.
Right.
Canaries kind of suck.
I think that somebody new just bought the team too.
Yeah, that's what I heard. But I'm gonna go check that out, and then I'll go check out some live shows at the Levitt. I mean, but if somebody decides that, if like national touring bands or even like this shit that we're into, like if the Descendants end up in Sioux Falls and are playing at Icon, I'm going.
Yeah. I'm not just gonna stay inside for the rest of my life.
Yeah. I'm gonna break my bubble and I'm gonna go.
Man, masks are the worst part for me in my life right now. Just in general, like I don't know if it's that, maybe it's just because I'm a bigger person or something, but like it's standing over like hot shit. Like specifically at work, our kitchen has like the heat blowers that blow heat out too.
Oh.
So like on top of like the broiler, the flat top, the heat window, we have 4 hot vents plus the hoods, or there's 4 heating vents above the line, right on that main line, and then the hood unit it's themselves blow out hot air. Because when they built it, like they tried to cut a lot of corners like the contractors did, like halfway through the building process, like they switched contractors or something like that, if I was understanding things right. But yada yada yada, like it was built very poorly for this $30 million building. Like it started, the ceiling was leaking from the rain 6 months into being built. I mean, that'll tell you right there.
Well, there was even when I worked there was a leak on the main line. I was just like, well, this is not okay. Like this building is only what, not even 10 years old?
Not even. It's about to be 7.
Yeah, like, and I've worked in every kind of kitchen you can think of, and I've worked in, I don't know, 7 or 8 here just in Sioux Falls, which obviously makes me look like I'm not a very good employee, but I am. I've worked in like pretty much basements that were converted into kitchens, into multi-million-dollar kitchens, to like, it's like at Maury's we had to wear masks because it's an open kitchen, but which was weird. And I don't know if I should say this, but I highly doubt anybody that's going to be watching or listening to us is going to be going to Maury's. So
Nick will watch.
Oh well, Nick no longer is with it. So
he doesn't work there either.
No.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Sorry to blow you out there, Nick. Love you, buddy. But we only had to wear a mask during service. Like we'd get there 2-3 hours beforehand, get all our prep done. We didn't have to wear a mask then. So when service started, we had to wear a mask.
Right. Well, it's
why
weird. It doesn't make sense.
COVID exists in the area. It has nothing to do with if you're sitting at your table, you can't get COVID, but if you go to the bathroom, you can get COVID.
Right.
Like it's not a selective thing. Like.
Well, that's what it's come down to. Is a lot of these businesses are doing it for like liability reasons, and I can get that. Like if you have I can get that. Like from a business owner's standpoint, like you don't want to fucking get sued. But if it's really about safety, then how come like employee safety doesn't matter when you're letting all your guests come through the hotels and all these other places? You know what I mean? Like a lot of places that I've seen, like they don't enforce it. They have their sign up, but they don't ever tell their guests to wear them.
Yeah, like you go to any gas station, it says please wear a mask when you walk in.
Yeah.
Like on the front door. You walk in and half the people that are working don't have masks on, and then half the people that are in there don't have masks on, and then I'm the one asshole that I always wear a mask everywhere I go because I got my family I got to worry about. I can't get my family sick.
Right.
And like my wife's got health issues. If I was to get her sick, she'd potentially fucking die, like your situation.
Right.
Like I think you guys have like a similar heart condition actually. But I don't want to be responsible for that. Like,
Right.
but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that if they are going to open back up to like having live music again, just stick to your guns. Make people wear masks when they like from entry point until where you're going to stand or sit or wherever, and then whatever. I mean, you're gonna get it even if you have a fucking mask on. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, you wear pants all day, you fart, you still smell it, right? Same thing. Like, I don't know, man. It is what it is, but it's. Hello?
That was my phone. It's all good. My camera system just armed.
But just to get through it, like I just need music to keep happening and like bands to keep putting out new albums. Like the Mighty Bosstones have a new album coming out.
Oh yeah, I just heard about that.
God dang, it's in like 2 weeks. It's gonna be fucking good.
That'll be cool.
Because I'm a huge Bosstones fan, and I've seen them twice. But the guitar player, the original guitar player, he went away for a while, and he I think he was like the chairman or the chairman president of MCA. He's the guy that found The Weeknd.
Oh really?
Yeah, he found The Weeknd.
I like The Weeknd.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
He was super weird at first, but then like I think it was just me, and I a lot of times will shy away from things that everybody else likes just because everybody else likes it.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, I was the same way with Post Malone. Like, everybody's like, oh, Post Malone this, Post Malone that. I'm like,
Oh yeah, God.
yeah. And then I listened to his records. I'm like,
dude, this guy can sing like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Both of those dudes can actually sing like a motherfucker.
That year that we were at Sunset, that was like one of his first or second years of touring, and he was at Sunset, and we didn't even bother to go see him.
Oh really?
And I'm just like, God damn it. But like Face to Face got a new album coming out this year.
I know Blink said that they were gonna release a new album.
So what's the deal with Blink? Is Tom gonna be back in?
I don't think so. I don't think Tom will be involved until he's like ready. I think he's got so much going on with the alien stuff.
With this alien shit, if it pops off like the government says it's going to, he's gonna be MIA for a long time.
Dude, it's kind of crazy to me that one of my heroes actually like has been very key in like getting more put out there about this specific thing. Like, it's super weird to me. Like, what? Like, people used to give this dude shit for years and shit, and then turns out he was right about a lot of this shit.
Oh, I mean, it's kind of almost another conspiracy, if you will. Like, the fact that he had the know-how and he took his time and researched the shit, people thought he was a kook, but was he really?
Obviously not now, especially like with that Tic Tac video, the Navy Tic Tac video. Have you seen that one?
Uh-huh.
So long story short, when Tom DeLonge was on Joe Rogan, he was talking about this video or whatever, and it was basically there was these Navy jet fighters that were off of like a jet carrier or whatever, and they were sent out to go explore these things or whatever that were like appearing or whatever, and they were like a giant Tic Tac type looking things, like ovular type thing. Like, they weren't made of anything that could have. Well, they don't know what they were made of, but like the construction of them and then the way that they moved was not like anything of this earth. Like, these.
Are those the videos of the thing that went into the ocean?
No, this was like a. Long story short, there was like, let's say you're flying your jet. This plane was like, see these things like 18,000 kilometers or however far in front of them, and then all of a sudden it instantly was on the other side of them, and no technology that anyone knows about in the world right now can like teleport like that, like in this way that this thing like instantaneously was able to like stop and maneuver and like adjust its like velocity and direction and shit. Like, it is ridiculous. But then that Navy pilot came out and confirmed that these videos were real on Joe Rogan too, and now the government released them.
I do kind of know what you're talking about, but
they don't know what they were though.
Well, of course. Well, they do know, but they're not going to tell us.
Maybe they do. I wouldn't be surprised if they truly did not know what those things were though.
Well, maybe it's just a conspiracy theory to me, but
who knows?
They probably know, and they just don't want to tell us. Maybe we shouldn't know.
I want to know though. I feel like I want to know.
Like some of my favorite like conspiracy theories, you were talking about Rogan, like I don't know if he necessarily believes it, but like the people that live in the center of the earth theory, the lizard people.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard that one?
Yeah, I've heard that one. I've seen some of those weird videos.
Yeah, like the Illuminati.
I also work on video editing myself, and I know that there's a lot of things that can be done digitally.
Well, no, yeah, I get that. I believe everything I see on the fucking internet, Bob. I mean,
No.
62%. No.
Sure, that's probably where I'm about.
I probably believe way more than 62%. Then
More than half.
Then I look into it and I'm like, it's dumb for thinking that, but whatever.
Nazis in Antarctica. Have you ever heard of that shit?
Huh.
There's some weird shit. Like after like World War II, they don't think that Hitler really died there because they think that he fled to like Argentina.
I thought he was chilling out with Walt Disney and like.
I know Walt Disney hated Jews.
Jesus.
No, he really did.
No,
he really did.
Well, the funny thing is you're talking about the Nazis. Did you know that NASA was started by a Nazi?
Operation Paperclip.
Werner von Braun.
Yeah. We actually took a bunch of their scientists in exchange for not sending them to prison for their heinous war crimes. We were just like, oh, you just help us figure out some things and then everything will be all good. Don't worry about those 6 million people that died. No big deal.
It's a give and take. Like I said earlier, man, it's a give and take. You give a little, you take a little. The government's done that to us my entire life. I mean,
yeah.
It's not going to change anytime soon.
No.
I mean, we have a fucking skin mask / Roomba that's running our fucking nation right now. Granted, he's better than the fucking Cheeto, but
is he?
So I don't know.
Everyone said that things were going to be better and things were going to be different, but he's doing some of the same shit that Donald Trump was doing.
Papa Joe is giving us some stimmies, though, man. He's giving us some stimmies.
Yeah, I would have much rather gotten that $20,000 that we're all on the hook for, though, than 32, like $4,000 I got is what I got.
Any of especially like when people were getting furloughed, like any of the money that we got, or even like the extension on the unemployment, like right. It was all so fucking helpful.
Absolutely.
But our kids, like your kid, my kids, they're gonna end up paying for that, dude. Like the future doesn't look so good.
No, it doesn't.
And it's not because of just Donald Trump or Joe Biden.
Absolutely not. They're just a continuation of the system. You know what I mean? Like it's been problems for years.
Us being punk rockers, man, we don't believe in that shit. Like one of my favorite bands is Pennywise, and like they're more of a I wouldn't call it like political, but some of the things that they get political about.
They had a whole album called Land of the Free.
Yeah, fuck authority. Like I remember blasting that song the night that Barack Obama got fucking was it the inauguration or the day that he won the presidency? I don't remember which one it was, but I just went to the jukebox and I played it like 6 times. And I was just like, yeah, we got a fucking black president. Things are gonna change, and they didn't.
No, they never do.
And then we got fucking a Cheeto, and it wasn't really any different, except for he decided that he wanted to blast people on the internet. But a lot of the shit that is coming out now is he wasn't that bad of a guy. He's not a good guy.
No, yeah, exactly.
He's not a bad guy. I mean, he's a bad guy, but he's not.
There was so much false lies and stuff put out on. Like he did enough bad stuff and had poor character in enough situations that they didn't need to make all that shit up. But that made all the shit that they made up made anything that was possibly truthful. It made people on that side not even want to listen to it because they just assumed that was a lie too.
Oh, that's our media.
Yeah, exactly. That's how they work, and it's both sides. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the right or the left, it doesn't fucking matter.
No,
it's all.
They're the same side. Republicrats.
Well, it's the media. Like if like what Donald Trump initially wanted to do, and what he kind of ended up doing was he disrupted the national media. He made them look like fucking fools. So I'll give him props for that.
Yeah.
And he did some decent things. Like he signed a couple peace treaties.
He actually created more peace than like both previous presidents, I believe.
He didn't keep the fucking Clinton fucking war machine going. He didn't just destroy bomb Yemen for no fucking reason like our current guys do.
You know, actually, I was just reading this the other day. Barack Obama was the most bombing president before Donald Trump, and then Donald Trump shattered his amount of people that he bombed in that one. In 1 year, Donald Trump bombed, or one term, Donald Trump bombed more people than Obama did in 2 terms.
But it's not necessarily, it's not Obama or Trump. It's not the president that does it. It's who sits behind him and who tells him what to do.
Right, right.
Like, our system's fucked. We all know that. There's no coming back from it. There's like I said, we got to be worried about our children. Like, that's what it boils down to, is because they're our future, and right now our future is not just like gloomy or dark. It's like the fucking like caveman shit.
Right.
Like,
well, there's such an attack on the truth right now because like people on the right don't really believe in like science. They think that God if you believe in God and like that he was like this person that created like the universe and everything, like I don't feel like science is too far out of his realm of expertise. I feel like he could have like created like the laws of gravity and shit like that and made them govern things, right?
Well, I have to ask because it'll be interesting to see is the world round or is it flat, Bob?
I think the world's round, and I think that anyone can see that with like if you look in an
but all the pictures that we see, it doesn't necessarily show it.
No, I mean like if you were to like stand on like a top of like a really high piece, like you could notice that like things disappear over the horizon. Like,
but the human eye can't see that.
We could.
I'm not a flat earther. Just
no,
so
no,
you know,
no, yeah.
I just don't. I don't like. I guess I didn't really listen, or like when I finally got into podcasts, which I was late to the game like 2 years ago. Like my buddies told me about the Tinfoil Hat podcast. It's a conspiracy podcast, but they had Stephen Carpenter from the Deftones on, and I listened. That's the only Tinfoil Hat podcast I ever listened to. But it was like Stephen he's out there, man. Like, he's all the stuff he says and he believes in, he can back. Like, he's not a fucking idiot. He smokes a lot of weed, but can't fault the guy for that. I mean,
dude, some of the smartest people I've ever met in my life smoked weed their whole life.
It doesn't make you stupid.
No.
Maybe a little lazy, but whatever.
And that's really on you. Yeah. I think all those things are on you as a person. You know, like whatever you do, like you were gonna do that without weed.
Yeah, like it's a gateway drug. No, it's a gateway fucking into a snack. Fuck off. Like it's not gonna cause you to go murder your grandma or fucking start a race war or anything like that. It's just it's from the earth. It is what it is.
But, and it's not for everybody. I get that. You know, there's a lot of people that probably should have never smoked weed. Like whether you're allergic to it or just like maybe it makes you freak out in your head. You know what I mean?
Paranoid. Like I think the CIA's got a cat out of my house with fiber optic eyes and shit. And I'm like, and I'm also like, it reacts differently like it does with everybody. Like a lot of people, it'll calm down or like take their pain away or help with certain attributes of like whatever ails them. But with me, it's like fucking methamphetamines. I'll get high and I'll go climb on a roof and wait for the CIA to show up because they're after me. You know? Like, holy shit, man! It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen today. So I don't know. There's just so much that can be solved by entertainment, and it's all been taken away from us. Like you were talking about Black Widow. That movie was supposed to be out fucking like almost 2 years ago.
That long?
A year for sure. But by the time it finally comes out, it's gonna be a year and 6 months. So a year and a half.
Yep.
Like, let us watch shit. Like, I guess they're releasing that new King Kong and Godzilla movie.
Oh yeah, that looks good.
Next week. I can't wait to see it.
We got HBO Max actually a few weeks ago.
You guys looking at the password there?
Come over, watch it.
Fuck yeah. I'm in. I want to see that giant monkey fight that giant lizard, man. I gotta see it.
I've always been a big King Kong and
But I want to see that new Mortal Kombat movie.
That looks good too. Parts of it look a little weird. I'm upset that Johnny Cage, one of the original Mortal Kombat fighters, is not even in the movie, and that they came up with a new character to replace him or something. That's a
I
little
like the
upsetting to me.
shitty old ones.
Yeah, those were good. I like that we have so much technology now that they could actually make a really, really, really cool
Yeah.
CGI shit now.
Yeah,
Like the Sub-Zero and Scorpion looked pretty badass.
Can you imagine if you were to step it all back, and the MCU would have came out 20 years ago, and they would have started making those movies 20 years ago when they didn't have the
Can you
technology?
imagine if Spawn was an MCU movie?
Todd McFarlane's working on it right now, man.
I mean, the 90s Spawn movie with, what was that black dude?
Michael Jai White or whatever.
Yeah,
the hell
that
his
dude
name
did
was.
a really good job with Spawn.
But that movie was just bad.
It was a bad movie.
It was not.
But you could see, like, if they made it today.
John Leguizamo in it, for fuck's sake. He was the violator, and it was terrible.
I
But
love
great.
him too, though. Like,
Yeah.
John Leguizamo was like one of my favorite. Like, he was in that movie The Pest, and there was so many
Yeah.
movies in the 90s. He's just funny as
He's
dude.
in that movie with Favreau, Chef.
Oh, Chef,
Have you seen
yeah,
that?
that's a good
movie's
movie.
Fucking great.
Oh man,
As long as they start bringing back things that, like, give us our entertainment back. Maybe we have to wait till 2022 to actually get to go see a live show in a venue, which I guess I'll wait. Be patient. But I fear for the fact that where we live in the Midwest, I don't know if bands are going to come here. Like, we might be doing in Minneapolis to see
Sioux Falls was already a really hard spot to get people to come to. Like, for some reason, a lot of bands would just go to Rapid City, even though Sioux Falls is the biggest city in our whole fucking state.
Well, when we would get shows, they were good shows. Like the last time we saw each other.
Oh, yeah.
And there was what, fucking 100 people at that show?
More than that.
Was there?
That room holds a lot, and that room was at least like a third full.
It
felt like it anyway.
Well, so I saw the Descendants a month prior to that in Minneapolis. So that's when I was going back and forth from Sioux Falls to Minneapolis for my training.
Is that when they played with Less Than Jake and like there was a bunch of bands that were playing with them or something, right?
No, it was when I was coming back and forth to Minneapolis for my training.
Oh, okay.
For Crave, and I got back and I had tickets to go see Pennywise, H2O, and Anti-Flag on September 11th.
Oh my God.
And then the next fucking night was the Descendants, and their both shows are at First Ave, and at that Descendants First Ave show, that fucking place was packed.
Oh yeah, Jesus!
Just wall to wall, old, like dudes like us and dudes older than us and their kids, and I was just like, this is the greatest. And the Descendants played for an hour and a half that night. And
I feel like they played a long time at our set too.
It was like 45 minutes to an hour.
Played a lot of songs. Their set list was long as fuck.
Oh, their songs are 2 minutes long.
That helps.
So you can play 65 songs, and that's like 2 minutes each. But like I say this all the time, but I honestly think that Descendants show at the District was probably one of the best shows I've ever seen.
I saw a lot of good bands. Lost Harbor is like the locals, like those are good friends of mine.
Yeah.
Also, what was that band? The other band that I was talking to you about that I felt like all those dudes were in other bands back in the day, the Nightbirds or something like that.
Yeah, Nightbirds.
That band was so good.
And so was I know a lot of people don't care for them, but who's the band right before the Descendants? It was Lost Harbor, Nightbirds.
Oh, Joyce Manor.
Yeah,
I love Joyce Manor.
Good live.
I was super new to Joyce Manor at that time. Like, I really only they have a song called Constant Headache that popped up on my Spotify, and like the lyrical content of that song and just like the guitar chords, like the way that it was played, like sometimes songs just resonate.
Their bass sound reminds me of, let's say it again, one of my all-time favorite bands, Jawbreaker. Their bass sound is, the tone, like the reverb or whatever that he uses, it's
a rich,
and the way he plays is very similar to the way the guy from Jawbreaker plays, and
he holds his bass up higher than most people, right? Yeah, because he plays with posture.
The Jawbreaker is fucking phenomenal, and right before all this happened, they were gonna go back on, and they're in the studio right now. They stopped being a band for fucking 20 years.
Right, and then they did Riot Fest or whatever.
And then they did quite a few other shows, and They're in the studio right now. So supposedly in 21, if not 21, 22, 22 for sure, we'll get a new Jawbreaker album.
I think Bad Religion released something this year too.
They did quite a few songs. They did like 4 or 5 singles.
Maybe that's what it was. It was all singles.
And then they did that live stream. They did 4 different live streams. It was for each decade that they've been a band. And my buddy Dave Kezar, which I'll send you this link. You gotta watch this shit. But he sent me the link for it so I could watch it. And I watched, and I can't remember which night it was, but it was just fucking great. And if you haven't ever seen Bad Religion live, you're fucking up.
You know, I saw them the very first year that I went to Warped Tour.
What, 98?
No, this would have been like the mid 2000s, early to mid 2000s or so.
I saw him.
Dude, either 2004, 5, 6, or 7.
That's when I kind of stopped going to Warped Tours. Like I went to 97, 98, 99, 2000, and then whatever the last.
So you went like during the punk heyday. When I was starting to go, there was bands like Every Time I Die were huge. That was that phase.
I saw Every Time I Die. So, and the last one I went to would have been the last year that they did the touring cycle of it. So, was it last 2019? They had the reunion where they did like 3 shows in California or whatever.
Oh,
it was.
yeah.
But the year before that, 2018, they did the last touring cycle of the Warped Tour.
Right.
And we went to it in Minneapolis. And Every Time I Die played. Less Than Jake played. Necrogoblin. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I'm aware.
They're fucking great, dude. But a lot of the bands that were there that day were that newer, not new metal, but like the newer like hardcore metal that I don't really get.
You're not talking like the progressive stuff. You're talking more like the hardcore stuff with clean vocals in the chorus.
And 2 singers that nobody cares about.
Yes, there's a screamer and a clean singer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Chelsea Grin or some shit like that. They played, and I was just like, well, this isn't for me.
Never heard of them.
You don't.
I've seen some bands that had 2 vocalists that made it work.
3 Inches of Blood.
That sounds cool.
3 inches of motherfucking blood. So if you like Iron Maiden and you like punk rock and a little bit of the newer school of metal, you will love 3 Inches of Blood. They literally write about wizards, orcs, like pirates, like fucking Wendigos and shit. Like they have a song called "Slay the Orcs." So when they first started out, they're from Canada. They played at my hometown Aberdeen at this coffee shop called the Red Rooster. 80 seats, 60 people. And my buddy was like, "Hey, yeah, the 3 Inches of Blood are gonna be there tonight." I was like, "Oh, I'll have to check it out." But I didn't know what I was in for, and they had a guy. His name's Cam, I believe he's the singer. And they had another guy that was like their holy shit, dude. I saw those guys at that coffee house and it was just fucking amazing. And then all of a sudden they had just an independent album out and they just took the fuck off. They went on Roadrunner Records and they just blew the fuck off.
Oh, Jesus.
And then they self-imploded. Then they're not a band anymore, but they were fucking phenomenal.
It's the worst part is like a lot of good bands, like they'll get up there and then all of a sudden like it's like this was not what we were looking for, and so then they just kill the whole thing. And then sometimes you'll have like one guy who is like super pretentious in the band that'll be like, "Well, I'm gonna need to hire people out and play these songs anyway. I need money."
You literally just described Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit.
You literally just described it.
Aren't all the same guys still in that band?
Yeah, well, so I thought Limp Bizkit was gonna change the fucking course of music. So go back to the
because they were good.
In 97, go to Minneapolis. I think it was actually at St. Paul at their minor league baseball stadium. I'm standing in line. We got there 2 hours fucking early. It's 106 degrees out. I'm at that point in time, I think I'm 19 or 20. Before I started my alcoholism phase. So I was sober and it's just hot. And I'm wearing Jenkos and a fucking like 2 t-shirts and a fucking red skateboarding hat. I'm fucking cooking, dude. I'm dying. we get up because the line started moving, and this little, like, I'm not shitting you, dude. Fred Durst is he can't be more than fucking 5'2".
That fucking short?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And he fucking smashes into my shoulder and shoulder checks me. He's like, "Get out of my fucking way!" And I was just like, "Who the fuck are you, dude?" He's like, "I'm Fred Durst from Limp fucking Biscuit. You should fucking know who I am." I'm like, "Who the fuck you are?" But I'm definitely gonna punch you in the lips right now. So I start fucking. I'm 140 fucking pounds and I'm 19 years old. So I'm twice the person I am now. I make a beeline for this dude. I'm gonna fucking kick this dude's ass. I don't care who he was. And all of a sudden, this Marilyn Manson looking fucking lanky bastard comes up and like gets in between us. Westmoreland, though, their guitar player. And I was like, "Oh," he's like, "He's a fucking asshole, man. Leave it alone." Oh my god, I'm hot. I'm aggravated. Fuck him. So we go in, and 97, that work tour, I'm just going to name off like what I remember. Less Than Jake, Descendants, Blink 182, Sick of It All, Suicide Machine, Pennywise, Vandals, Social Distortion. I believe Hepcat was there, but Limp Bizkit was on that year. So I was really excited to see Sick of It All. And I was like, I need to see these guys live. I fucking love New York hardcore. I have to see this happen. And so I make a beeline to the merch tents and I'm checking out their fucking shirts. And I'm like, what time do you guys go on, man? And it's Alman, their drummer. He's just fucking standing there. He's like, I don't know, man. It's hot. I don't even care if we play today. And so it went first merch booth. I don't remember who it was. Limp Bizkit. Or no. First merch booth. Pennywise, Limp Bizkit, Sick of It All. And all the guys from Sick of It All were sitting there and they're just fucking breaking balls and having a good time being dudes from the East Coast. And they're like, I overheard one of them say, "Oh yeah, DJ Lethal from House of Pain." I'm a fucking huge House of Pain fan. I'm like, DJ Lethal, House of Pain? What? House of Pain's here? I was like, oh, did I strike gold? And he's like, no, DJ Lethal's new band is playing later, or they played before us. They're actually on in like 5 minutes. And I was like, what are they called? They started cracking fucking jokes at each other and like limp-wristed or Limp Bizkit or some shit.
Limp-wristed?
Yeah. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna go check this out. If DJ Lethal's in this band, it's gotta be good. So I'm standing there and like there's he Lethal walks out and I noticed who he was, and he starts fucking like scratching records and just going to town. And then I noticed my little homeboy from the parking lot, Wes, standing with a guitar, and then the other two guys come out, and then sure as shit, the little Ewok that Fred Durst comes out with his fuzzy LL Cool J Kangol hat on and his fucking dickies and his just fucking pissed off at the world. He's telling people well, this is before they fucking turned into the, pardon my language, the Holocaust that it was. Like, god damn it. But they came out and they played and I was just like, holy shit, that was actually really fucking enjoyable. So I go back to Aberdeen and I ordered their CD through my buddy that owned a CD shop, and I got it, and it was everything I wanted out of music.
It's like $3 bill, y'all. Yeah. Probably was the first one.
And I was like, these guys are gonna change music. And I was a Korn fan. I like the Deftones, but like all those bands, the exception of the Deftones, one of the fucking best bands ever.
Oh yeah.
Korn turned that corner where they started to just sound terrible, and then they started writing really bad music, and then they all got.
I guess there was a lot of meth involved.
Yeah, well, they probably should have stayed on that.
Trust me, I knew your son. He was better off when on the drugs.
Yeah.
At least when he was smoking hashish, he occasionally made me laugh.
Yeah. I think almost all of them have found God and whatever. I don't care. Like, your music sucks. But I thought Limp Bizkit, I thought that record was going to change modern music. I thought Korn's first album, that Limp Bizkit album, and anything the Deftones have done, but it was like their first album at that time. I was like, this is what music's going to transform into, and it's going to be fucking amazing. Well, fast forward 2 years, we get the new Limp Bizkit album, and it's a piece of shit. It had
that would
Nookie
have
on
been.
it. It was Significant Other was their second album.
Okay. What about Hot Dog? The
That
Hot
was
Dog Water and
third
the.
or fourth.
Oh wow. Okay, I thought there was like $3 bill, y'all, hot dog flavored water, and then Significant Other.
No, Significant Other was their second.
I remember it had that Break Stuff song on it, and me and my friends listened to that song like, man, you can say that shit on. You can say that. Break your fucking face tonight.
What got me was when I saw them at the Warped Tour, and they played that Georgia Michael cover of Faith, which I know a lot of people can't stand.
I love that song.
But when they played that, I was like, holy shit, I hope this is on a record. It was a cover song, so there was no fucking possible way it was going to be on the record.
Right.
Well, when I fast forward, I got home and I got the record, it's on there. And it sounded just like it did when they played it live.
Yeah.
It was so fucking good. And I thought these guys were going to just transcend into the fucking, like they were the angels. And they came down and they blessed us with this. And plus it was DJ fucking Lethal from House of Pain, man. Like I've gotten off track 100 times, but the reason why you and I started talking was because of that La Coca Nostra fucking post that I put in. You said you got to see him here, and I was just like, oh, I bummed out and butthurt about it. And I was like, but I don't know, I'm not like huge friends with him. Like we talk on Facebook, which doesn't really mean anything. But Danny Boy from La Coca Nostra and House of Pain, like we share a birthday. We're and I talked to him, and we're not friends by any means, but acquaintances on the internet.
Yeah.
But he's super fucking nice guy, like, and I love his fucking music. And I thought House of Pain was going to do that. And House of Pain did that. But then they put out their third album and it just fizzled out. But then the Coca Nostra came around, and then that first album was everything I wanted and needed it to be.
They were solid as fuck.
Well, and they had the talent. They had Ill Bill from Nonfiction. They had Slain, like, and then it turned it kind of into a like bastardized monster because Everlast then left after the first album. Was Everlast at that show here in Sioux Falls?
They were like a new band at that time. I think that it was like, so this would have been 2007, maybe?
When they probably just started them.
I know they were really new and like nobody had heard of them, and we had no idea that they were even playing. It was Cottonmouth Kings and Tech Nine. That was the show. That was what we were going to, and then we got there and they're like, we got this new group, La Coca Nostra. It's made up of a bunch of people from like Cypress Hill and all these other different groups and stuff. And I was like, oh, holy shit, I'll check this out. And it was like a blend of like classic fucking hip hop.
Yeah.
Like with heavier influences.
It's so like majority of the hip hop that I listen to, it's either one or the other. It's either like the Midwest, like indie underground shit, or I listen to like the straight up punch you in the fucking face shit, like
horrorcore.
No, not so much horrorcore, but like Jedi Mind Tricks, Coca Nostra, Slain, Ill Bill. There's a dude from Long Island. His name's Diabolic. Fucking phenomenal, and they all know each other. Yeah, I got beef with Immortal Technique.
Fair enough.
I think he's a fucking clown.
Fair enough.
If you hear this, buddy, fuck you. But no, he's a good rapper, but he's fucking batshit crazy.
Fair enough.
Shit crazy. Like, to each its own, but like I like that. Like I guess it's like street shit. They like with La Coca Nostra is like their thing was that 2 of them were heavy fucking drug addicts, or 3 of them were heavy drug addicts. So they just talked about selling drugs because that's what they knew.
Right.
And they were good at hip hop because fuck DJ Lethal produced their first fucking album. Like, pretty hard for DJ Lethal was responsible for some of the best music of my life. House of Pain, Biscuit's first album. Nothing after that. La Coca Nostra, like some of the best records I've ever heard. Like I would, if I had to do a top 10, House of Pain's first album would be in that. Biscuit's first album would be in it, and so would La Coca Nostra. All three of those albums would be in my top 10, amongst a bunch of other different shit.
Sure.
So, like, my connection with, you could call it East Coast rap, but everybody thought House of Pain was an East Coast band, but they're from California.
Okay.
They're all from fucking California.
That doesn't surprise me.
And Danny Boy he was born in New York, and he lived there until he's like 5 or 6, but he doesn't, his main gig now is he lives in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he bought the Outsiders, that movie, The Outsiders. He bought that house and turned it into a museum.
Oh, really?
That's what he does now.
Oh, jeez. So, that's cool.
But, like, music just does, it takes all the negative out of my life, and it makes me happy. So that's why I dive into it as much as I do. Like, and it's nice to talk to other like-minded people. Like, you can actually sit and conversate instead of just like, oh, that's cool, dude. This is a fucking bullshit story that I don't really fucking care about. Like, a lot of people in my life are just like, yeah, I heard your fucking gold figure story 10 times. I don't care. I've heard your Authority Zero story 45 times. It's the same fucking story. Nobody cares. But I care, man.
Yeah, they gotta be into the music to care about that stuff.
Like, the first time I saw NoFX was at a work tour. I think it was in '98, and I lost my shoe. And somebody took my shoe. And they fucking threw it at Fat Mike, and he just barely missed. It just barely missed his fucking face. And he took my shoe and he put it on his fucking bass ring. And I had to go back up there, and I was like, "Hey, man, can you get my fucking shoe back?" And he took it off and he fucking whipped it at me. But didn't even. He had this security guard that was standing in front of me in the back of the head, and I was like, "Well, got my shoe back." But I don't know, man. I hopefully this summer we'll get to see some live music and get back to normal.
I'm hopeful. On the subject of NoFX, the first year that I went to Warped Tour, they were the headliner, and the band that played right before them was like this, like we always called them like the Midwest Christcore band, even though I don't think this band was Midwest or whatever, but like it was like emo, but like they put Jesus and stuff into it. The band was called Thursday, and they were having like
Thursday's fucking great.
They were a solid band, but they played like 15 minutes past the time they were supposed to. And then like when NoFX came out, Fat Mike was like, "We'd like to thank Thursday for playing until Friday." And then he put a plastic solo cup on his mic stand, and he opened a brand new 175 of vodka and just started filling it up. And at one point he was all talking, he's like, "Man, I'm real chill. You guys chill tonight?" "I'm real chill." Of course I'm chill because I'm on Valium. But he was fucked up, but it was a good ass set.
He's supposedly sober right now.
It seems kind of weird.
Not
that people can't get sober, but
he goes through phases where he dries himself out because he has to, because he's essentially pickled.
Oh, fair enough.
All the drugs.
I'm a pickle.
Yeah. Can't ask Fat Mike what he wants to be called. He'll just tell you he's a pickle.
Honestly, though, that year that I went to Warped Tour, the best band that I saw was Rise Against. I fought all the way to the front. I touched Tim's hand and shit. I felt like super cool because I was like 18.
I like Rise Against. I don't like to tell anybody that. But to me, Rise Against is just a boy band version of Strike Anywhere. Strike Anywhere, you know.
I think they started off okay, but then
their bass player was originally in 88 Fingers Louie.
Yeah. I think Tim was in that band too, or something.
Possibly.
I wanted to say that there was like 2 members of that band or something that were in 88 Fingers Louie.
88 Fingers Louie was badass.
Crazy. They were fucking. I remember the thing that I remember the most about that band, which I discovered them after Rise Against because hearing about them, but like their bassist was just crazy. like listening to some of those old bass lines and shit was crazy.
Yeah.
But that was always my number one favorite. The thing that got me into punk rock was bass guitar. I started playing bass, and then like I was like, "Oh, this is cool."
I think what got me into punk rock was like there was a local band in Aberdeen called the Discrepancies, and they were like a West Coast fucking sounding band. They sounded like they could have been on Fat Records.
Okay.
But it never really happened, obviously. But the lead singer in that band, he was big into any kind of punk rock. Like he got me into the like, Screeching Weasel, the Queers, Bad Religion, like Pennywise, like anything that I'm into now. It was because of this dude. His name's Jamie. Fucking great dude. But he was a huge Social Distortion fan, and like I guess it was the sounds that got me into it. So like the sound of like the Epitaph sound or the Fat Record sound or the Lookout sound, like that's what got me into punk rock. And then for the longest time, the production value had to be good. If it sounded like shit, I didn't dig it.
Right.
Like the first 2 or 3 Descendants albums, I wouldn't even listen to because I fucking hated the way they sounded. But now I like they're some of my favorite records.
Yeah.
Even like the very first, I think it's the very first Bad Religion album. That sounds like garbage. But now
That would have came out in the fucking 80s then.
Yeah.
Some of that shit. That's crazy to think about.
But like just production value in itself, like the Fat Record sound. Not all the bands, they don't sound all the same. I don't think.
But it's full.
Yeah, it's very robust.
You wouldn't like if back in like the 80s, you might record a punk song where the guitars actually didn't work together.
Yeah.
Or things like that, but that would not happen in like a Fat Record song. Everything works together.
Well, and now like a lot of those bands, like Bill from the Descendants, he just so happens to fucking record a lot of the Fat Records bands.
Oh, really?
Yeah. At the Blasphemy Room. He owns a studio in Fort Collins called the Blasphemy Room. And he did Rise Against. He's done I don't know. I want to say he's doing the new Face to Face record that's coming out here real soon.
Okay.
So Roger from Less Than Jake did that Suicide Machines record that we talked about earlier, and that's like Roger's a fucking amazing producer. Like the shit that he puts out, and he doesn't produce a lot of the Less Than Jake stuff. I think he did the newest album, but a lot of the stuff he doesn't do.
Okay.
But as long as it's produced well and it sounds good, which is kind of an open-ended statement, but I like to be able to like hear the kick drum and I like to hear the bass. Like a lot of times, I think with early recordings, it was either all or nothing with the bass tone. It was either really apparent or you couldn't hear it at all.
Yeah, and I also agree with that. I like to hear everything. I like to be able to pick it out.
Yeah.
Even if it's not like an apparent part of the song, I want to be able to sit there and like focus my mind's eye and be able to isolate it.
Yeah. When, like with vocals. Now, you can go back to Goldfinger. That guy isn't necessarily the best vocalist.
No, but he can hit some notes. You know what I mean?
He's an amazing producer. Like John Pillman made some of the best fucking records of the last 20 years.
Right. I think there's a lot of bands like that too, though, that have singers like that, and that they just work.
Yeah.
Like, you're probably not a Newfound Glory fan, I would guess.
No, I am.
Are you? I don't think
fan.
that he's a good singer, but I think that he does a good job for them. He sings with his nose. You know what I mean?
Well, so like Newfound Glory, they're like a New York hardcore band and a pop punk band.
Well, so Nothing Gold Can Stay actually was a super heavy fucking album. There was a lot of heavy shit.
They have a new song called like Himalaya or some shit like that.
I guess I haven't heard anything recent.
It's good. It reminds me of like that era of New York hardcore. Like I fucking love Newfound Glory.
That makes me happy. A lot of people that I know that are like actually listen to like real punk, if you will. You know what I mean? I hate using that term because I personally think punk's more of a mindset.
Yeah.
But like, I grew up with people that told me I wasn't punk because I liked Blink-182 and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Those people can do. There's a game called fuck off. And they're playing that. So, Dude Ranch, one of the best fucking records ever written. I love that fucking record. I love every song on that record. And it's from a point of view of fucking three dudes that were just about having a good time. They were like
dick and fart jokes.
Yeah. And breaking up with girls and drinking beers and fucking watching Star Wars and like shit I could relate to, man. Like one of my all-time favorite bands, Good Riddance. I don't know half the shit they sing about because he's got a fucking vocabulary that puts mine to shame, and he's a fucking very intelligent dude. But they're a political band, like Propaganda. I love Propaganda.
Oh hell yeah!
But I don't really know why they're pissed, and I don't know what they're talking about.
I don't really know.
I mean, I pick it up after a spell, but I don't fixate on like, oh, well, they don't like our president, so I'm not going to. I just like good music, man. And if it's fucking catchy and it's poppy, or if it's fast and it's disruptive, then sign me the fuck up.
The only thing that I personally need for a song to be good and make, like The Weeknd, a lot of like people probably aren't into that kind of music that listen to like rock and stuff like that. But when the way that song starts, the Blinding Lights song, it starts coming up, and then all of a sudden you start to hear that little bit of a fucking like, I don't know, it's not a guitar quite at that point yet,
yeah.
But eventually what it turns into, the guitar melody, and then the drums come in like.
That song's fucking great. I actually found something on Facebook the other day of I think it was like on Alternative Press's fucking little site. It was some dude, he made a pop punk version of that song.
Oh,
it was
really?
Fucking great.
I bet. Oh, there's a guy on YouTube who does a lot of shit like that. He actually has a pretty good following. I forget the name of his channel, but he'll take shit and be like, if Blink-182 wrote this song or something like that.
There's a band, I think they're called the Punk Rock Factory or some shit like that. But they just do covers of like Disney songs, music, like shit from like musicals and shit.
Oh, I've seen some Disney covers like in pop punk form, and I think that shit is so cool.
Well, those guys are like,
the singer, his name's Jordan or something like that, right? Maybe there's two different people. There's a dude on YouTube that has a bunch of shit.
I think I know who you're talking about, but yeah, I don't know. Entertainment. Just give us our entertainment.
Yeah.
Like, there's gonna be some good fucking records this year. Like that new fucking Mighty Mighty Boston. It's gonna blow some doors off some people.
I'm super excited for the new Blink album because this is what I'm excited for, is at least 3 songs that I really like and a handful of other songs that still have Mark's voice on it.
So,
and I also like Matt Skiba a lot, so I like to see what he contributes. I think Matt Skiba, I think the 2 best punk rock vocalists of all time is Tony Sly and Matt Skiba.
You're not wrong. I can't even argue that.
Beautiful. They're just beautiful.
When Tony Sly fucking died, I cried like a fucking baby.
I actually had no idea who Tony Sly was until after he was dead. I was aware of who No Use for a Name was. In fact, my wife and our wedding song is International You Day.
Yes.
And, but like, I started listening to that band, and I was like, oh, these guys are really good. And then I found out he's dead. I was like, oh, shit.
So they played at the 98 World Tour.
Damn, you seen them live?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, so I saw them that day, and then it would have been in 2000. Fuck, I don't know. It would have been like 2 years before I got sober, so 12 years ago. It was right before he died. He's been dead for
It's been a while
10
now.
years or so. But we went to Fargo to see No Effects, and at that point in time, I wasn't paying attention because I was drinking. So I knew No Effects was there, and I was going to drink fucking whiskey and fucking Bex all day long, and I was going to go see No Effects, and I was going to get fucking hammered, and I was going to have a great time. But we get to the show, And I was like, well, there's gonna be openers, if they're gonna be local bands, whatever. And I'm standing there and I'm looking at like the merch booths, and when I see Teenage Bottle Rocket, I was like, dude, I don't really know if these. I've heard like one or two.
They were
songs.
around that long ago?
Yeah. Well, dude, they've been around for a fucking long.
See, I thought they started after the Lillingtons.
They have fucking a ton of records. I bet you they have probably close to 10 records.
Weird. I totally thought that was an offshoot of the Lillingtons.
I think the bass player, lead singer of the Lillingtons, is in Teenage Bottle Rocket, and I think that's why, because the Lillingtons broke up or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But I think Teenage Bottle Rocket was going before that. I don't know.
Right.
Because there's two singers. And
Ray Rocket is the one guy.
Yeah, but and that guy from the Lillingtons does the other singing.
Yeah, and they're actually pretty similar.
They sound the fucking same. But so I was like, oh cool, I can see Teenage Bottle Rocket, and that's when the opener started, and he started with a No Use for a Name song, and I'm like, I know who that is. I walked up to the stage, I'm like, holy fucking shit, it's Tony Sly playing acoustic. One of the best fucking sets I've ever seen.
That would have been so cool. He did that shit a lot too.
Well, that's what he was doing, because I don't know if they broke up. I'm not gonna put their business out there, but they put out quite a few fucking albums. Like, I want to say there's probably, I'm gonna say 6 for sure, and there's probably
6 or 7 was the number that was popping into my head.
But
plus the greatest hits.
So when I got to see No Use for a Name, that's when Chris Shiflett from the Foo Fighters he was an original member, or not an original member of No Use for a Name, but he was in No Use for a Name, and I got to see Chris Shiflett play with No Use for a Name. So, and Matt Riddle from Face to Face. Face to Face's original bass player.
Matt Riddle, Master Bassman.
Yeah. I got to see. So the lineup of No Use for a Name was Rory's their drummer, Chris Shiflett, Matt Riddle, Tony Sly, and it was fucking amazing.
That would be cool.
But I got to see Tony Sly, and I was like, oh, I can go home after this. I don't need to see NoFX now. Fuck it.
Sorry, Mike.
and then Teenage Bottle Rocket started, and that's when they had their drummer Brandon. He was still alive.
Yeah, Ray's brother.
Yeah, dude. When they first started, like he just started with that beat, and then they came out and they started in, and I was like, holy shit, these guys are like Screeching Weasel, but not shitty. I mean, I
faster or something.
And I love Screeching Weasel, but I was hooked. And then NoFX came on, and I was like, well, it's really hard to follow up Tony Sly and Teenage Bottle Rocket. And they really didn't. They were fucking shit faced. It was not the best outing I've ever seen in NoFX, but I love NoFX, so I mean, fuck, I have a NoFX tattoo. So whatever. And everybody else is like, oh, they're not real punk rock. They're not. Who are we to fucking judge what's real music? They do it for a living, and they do it fairly successfully. He runs a label,
right?
At one point in time, he had fucking 5 or 6 fucking stores throughout the world. He had one in Japan. He had one in Germany. He had one on each coast. And now the only one they have left is the one in San Francisco. But I mean, for being essentially a degenerate, he went to college to become a fucking real estate agent.
There's too many people that think that you're not punk rock unless you're like sitting in like a smoke-filled fucking basement, not taking showers. And like,
I did that when I first started listening to punk rock, and it's not that appealing.
No, it's not. I like
friends,
to smell okay.
Girls, fucking anybody really. Like nobody wants to hang out with some dude that smells like a burrito.
Crust punks.
Yeah. I drink whiskey and I fucking hate you and I pissed my pants. Cool.
I pissed my pants.
I don't know, man. But you gotta check out that new NoFX album. It's good. It's really fucking good. And in my opinion, it doesn't fucking matter. So anybody that watches this is gonna be like, oh, okay, fucking talks a lot, and it's about absolutely nothing.
Well, that's all right. I didn't have to do that much actually for this episode, to be honest. So I mean, that was kind of cool. I don't get me wrong. I like to ask questions and shit, but it's kind of easier like if I don't have to guide the conversation.
I ran with it. Just ran. I don't know, man.
And we're coming right up on 2 hours. I mean,
If you want to cut it, let's cut it.
you want anything else you want to talk about? I don't like to force anything, so I mean, if it gets to the point, like, you know what I mean, like, we can cut it or we can keep talking.
I don't really have anything else to say. I mean,
We didn't talk that much about sports. I'd like to talk a little bit about basketball.
well, fucking go.
You're a Nets fan, right?
No, I'm a Bulls fan.
You're a Bulls fan. Okay, I knew it was one of those black and red teams.
One of those shitty teams.
Hey, at least the Bulls got some championships. I don't know what the Nets got, but they might get one this year.
I doubt it.
I am very sure that LaMarcus Aldridge and then Blake Griffin are gonna like drag that team down. Neither one of their teams wanted to deal with their shit over the last few years. Like,
well, Blake Griffin potentially could have been a GOAT, but definitely one of the better basketball players to ever play the game.
He was definitely like above average. I always wondered like how good he would have been if he never had Chris Paul though, because I think Chris Paul is like one of those players that makes a lot of players better than they may have been. He's just so smart. He knows how to utilize people well.
I don't disagree with that, but I don't know if Blake Griffin he's a naturally talented athlete. But he's got a fucking attitude problem.
Yeah.
Where it's sidelined him his entire fucking career. Like, when he's healthy, he's not healthy because he's just a shit show. He's like Latrell Sprewell. Remember that guy? That guy was a fucking beast.
I remember he choked PJ Carlesimo.
And showing guns on planes and shit to his fucking teammates. Like, I'll shoot you if you don't pay me the money you owe me. Like, dude.
Sorry, Latrell. I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah. I got it. It's in my backpack. It's in the bellies of plane.
Oh yeah, no, I know you got it, but I know you got it.
Where's my money, man? Where's my money?
Oh man. I really like the NBA though. It's like the only sport that I can watch any team play, except for I don't like to watch the Celtics because I'm a Lakers fan.
I get that.
I do respect the Celtics from a basketball championship and like basketball. Just as a true appreciator of basketball, I appreciate them and what they've done. But fuck the Celtics.
See, Larry Bird, Kevin McHale,
some of the greatest players of all time. You see how they're doing that Showtime series of the Lakers?
Huh.
So HBO Max is putting it out. It's going to be based off of the 80s Showtime Lakers. And you know who Bo Burnham is? The comedian who sings like songs and shit with piano.
Familiar.
They got Bo Burnham to play Larry Bird. And I heard that and I lost
should have got Michael Rappaport to play fucking Larry Bird. God damn it.
He's too old. They're going for like young Larry Bird, as I think is what it comes out to.
Old.
And then some other guy, I forget who they got to play Pat Riley for the Lakers. And then
Pat Riley's still alive?
Pat Riley is the president of basketball operations in Miami.
Is that fucking scumbag that won the championship with LeBron and Mike Miller? That's my boy. But
he's opening. Mike Miller actually is opening up that restaurant in the Old Turks and Caicos.
I'm gonna go there.
I actually had no idea they were closing that down.
Nobody really did, I don't think, until
I thought that place did all right.
They announced it, and then I think it was fucking not even 4 days later. They're like, tomorrow's our last day. I'm like, what do you mean tomorrow's your last day? What the fuck, man?
Yeah, I was reading an article that they said that they might, or that their plan is to open up in another location, but I imagine they're not going to force it. I don't think this is really a good time to open a restaurant.
That fucking
maybe it could be if you did things right.
There's a guy that I used to work with. He opened his own joint in the middle of COVID. It's Chef Lance.
Oh yeah, I think a restaurant like that would do well. Small, serve you could still get a lot of food out, but like you have a smaller area. You can handle things yourself. You're not trying to do too much like some of these big restaurants.
I mean, the place I'm working at now, it's tiny and I fucking love it. Like I actually get to cook food that I stand behind. I get to like be a part of the process, and it's like it feels like family. It feels like a team, like a sports team almost. Like and you're only as good as your weakest link. But Scottie Pippen up in that bitch. Let me tell you.
I always felt like I was like before my heart attacks, I was like Kobe Bryant on the kitchen. You know what I mean? Like I would come in and I could help anybody. I could be the scorer guy. I could pass the ball if I needed to. Whatever you needed me to do, I was gonna come in and fucking do it, and I was gonna do it as gangster as
I'm
possible.
a power forward.
I like that.
A power forward.
I always so like some of my favorite players of all time is like Kobe, obviously, but like I really like Gilbert Arenas.
Go away.
Watching Gilbert Arenas, like before his knee injuries, like that dude was wild as fuck. His cuts were crazy. His scoring was crazy.
one of my favorite Lakers, which is really a fucking. He was only there for a couple years, but Ron Artest.
I love Ron Artest. Meta World Peace now.
He still goes by that?
Oh, so he changed his name to Meta World Peace, and then he changed his name to the Panda's Friend, and then changed his name back to Meta World Peace. And now I think he actually I think he also goes by Ron Artest to some people now. Yeah. I love Meta World Peace though, Ron Artest.
Where was he playing when he fucking went ape shit?
You talking Malice in the Palace?
Yeah.
So Malice in the Palace was he was in Indiana playing against
the Knicks. Had to be.
I thought it was like the Pistons or something like that.
Maybe you're right. I don't remember. That was fucking 20 years
I just remember that he hit the wrong guy. But he I think it was Jermaine O'Neal or something. The other guy just grabbed him, fucked him up. And the best part about it was I watched this interview or whatever with him or whatever, and they asked him like the first thing. Oh, it was Steven Jackson was saying that Ron Artest said to him after the game was like, "You think we're gonna get in trouble for this?" Like, of course you're gonna get in trouble for this. But if you would have heard him say it like that,
like almost kicked out of the fucking league.
I want to say Ron Artest got suspended a whole season plus one game or something like that, and like I think if it would have been a little bit worse, that he probably would have got banned.
Well, crazy as shit. So top 5 all-time basketball players go, and it doesn't have to be in order.
Oh, just like my top 5?
Yeah.
Kareem, MJ, Kobe, LeBron, and probably Bill Russell.
Magic.
I don't think Magic Johnson is one of the greatest of all time. I think that his career was cut short.
So
I do think that I do think he is like a greatest of all time. Like he would absolutely make my top 10, but I think there's a lot of things that I think that Magic just kind of gets put up there by a lot of people. But I think if you were to ask me like who I think the best passers in the history of the game were, I wouldn't be able to name them in order, but it'd be like Magic, LeBron, John Stockton, Steve Kerr was good. You know who else was really good at passing the ball though is Rajon Rondo.
Yeah.
Another White Chocolate Williams was crazy at passing the ball with the elbow and shit.
Oh,
you know?
What was his first name?
Jason. Yeah. There's been a lot of like really good. There's so many different things.
You can't get away with that nickname these days.
No, you couldn't.
Call somebody White Chocolate. You get canceled and sued. And somebody try to fight you.
I've already been canceled 3 times, so.
Whatever.
We're back.
They can't cancel me from fucking a kitchen, so.
I just make this joke on every episode that we're about to get sued or we're canceled or me too'd or something.
We cheated the fucking line today, so.
I don't think you said anything that YouTube would violate us for.
Well, you got 5
Although I do believe in free speech, so
I
don't believe in censorship in the first place. But I do at the same time I am trying to build a brand. So I mean, like I don't tell people to not say certain things, but like if somebody were to come on here and start dropping N-bombs and stuff, I'd probably have to ask them to leave. Not that I think that you would do that.
That's not our word. I'm not going to use that. It's
nerf herder.
It's offensive, man. Like the older I get, when I was younger, when I would hear the music, I'd be okay with it. But now, like Tribe Called Quest put out, since we're talking sports, Tribe Called Quest, fucking, they were huge sports fans. And I lost my train of thought. Where was I going? Oh, they put out an album right before the main member died. Fife.
Oh yeah, he died
Yeah.
recently within the last couple of years, right?
Yeah. He died right before Prince did.
Okay.
So they put out an album. I think they actually put the album out after he died, but the excessive use of that word on that album makes me uncomfortable now. I'm just like, it used to, like, I used to get a little giggle out of it, or like I could play the soft as long as there's not any black people around. I can say it, not get in trouble. But now it's just I get uncomfortable. I'm like, I'd rather it not be music.
That's fair. I get that. I also just don't believe in censorship because I think it leads to other shit eventually down the road. But at the same time, like I don't think that people like you and me, even from a free speech perspective, should want to say that word. You know what I mean? Like it hurts people and shit, and like we shouldn't want to say words like that.
Well, if we've learned anything in the last 4 years, that we should not follow anybody's fucking guidelines, and the use of word like what our former president did for us was set us back fucking 500 years because he was a racist piece of shit. Like it's not a word that needs to be used. Like you don't need to hurt people's feelings to get a point across. You don't need to call somebody that. You don't need to call somebody anything derogatory. Like just be a good fucking human being. You don't have to worry about. Don't be a scumbag. Like,
Right. And if you don't like something, don't consume it.
Go over there.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't like this music or this band or like is this the Lil Nas X shoes? Did you see those shoes? The Nike collab that supposedly so it was like a limited run of shoes. It was like the what the Air Max 95 or the 97s look like. They're kind of weird. But this collab was with Lil Nas X and some other dude, and they used real blood. And then they're like a 666 Satan version of shoe. And like Christy Nome found out about it, and she started like blasting Lil Nas X on Twitter. And he was like, "You're a whole ass governor of a state. Maybe you should do your job and not be worried about these shoes." They sold out in less than a minute today.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, but I don't know. Be a good fucking person. Listen to music. Take care of your family. Fucking. And don't use the N-word.
Yeah. I know you're not a political person, but I'm libertarian. We have a thing we kind of go by called the non-aggression principle. And that basically just means like the people should be able to do what they want, consume the content they want, or whatever, and live any life that they want as long as they're not hurting other people. You know what I mean? Like if you're not hurting other people and you want to fucking hang up like the fucking Stars and Bars flag in the privacy of your own home, go ahead. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Just don't do it out front of your house.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that shit.
Yeah. Like even if you put it in front of your house, like that's your right, but don't be surprised if your shit goes missing. Yeah. Or like if someone beats you up.
Or if your neighbors shit on your front doorstep.
Yeah.
Because if you live in my neighborhood, you do that, I'm probably gonna do that.
Oh man, there was a dude up the street from me who had one of those fucking QAnon flags flying. I think it's still up, and I laugh when I see that shit. QAnon. It's really bad. I had some friends and family that got real heavy into that shit. And like, that's okay if you want to be into Trump, but please don't get into the QAnon shit.
They weren't into Trump. QAnon was just.
They tried.
It was garbage.
They tried to piggyback on Trump, I think, is what it came down to.
Well, it's because he was trying to disrupt the system. He was trying to fuck up mainstream media, and they hated mainstream media, but. That was your only vote to get from point A to point B was mainstream media because, well, I suppose social networks, but does it really matter? Does it really fucking matter? Your crazy shit that you come up with, like, oh, this is gonna happen in 5 days, and if you don't listen to us, then you're gonna fucking like, there's gonna be a reckoning. Like, no, dude, you're making shit up. You're worse than a conspiracy theorist, and essentially that's all you are, but you're not even good at that job.
Right.
Like, whatever. Like that weak ass raid on the Capitol. Not that I want like somebody to raid our Capitol, but somebody should have got fucking severely fucked up at that thing. Those guys that fucking stole shit, or that guy in the fucking headdress, somebody should have got shot in the fucking face. Like,
well, it's weird. They always talk about how like there's a lot of things that aren't like racially motivated, but it's like when all that shit was going on with George Floyd, they had the National Guard immediately deployed. But like when it came for time for this, like they had to go through all the proper channels and stuff, you know.
Well, and a lot of the Q shit was like they said they incited that riot essentially because they were too wrapped up with the fact that COVID wasn't going the way that everybody thought it was. It was actually getting better, but it was still peaky or like spiking, and the numbers were starting to like level out or norm out. And Q just had to fucking jump in there and be like, "Oh, we gotta do something, man. Let's drop the N-word right now and do it publicly and make it look fucking bad." But Q is the fucking a lot of the cops that supposedly started that shit, or ex-cops or whatever they were, like it was a really bad conspiracy theory. It really was. It was a bad show that everybody watched.
Yeah. I was actually listening to NPR when that shit happened, and like all of a sudden, like they were doing like a live interview with someone, and all of a sudden I just heard glass break in the feed cut, and I was like, "What the fuck just happened?"
The thing that really upset me about the whole George Floyd thing is somebody's life got fucking taken away. He was a brother, he was a father, he was a friend, first and foremost, he was a human being.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't need to fucking die, regardless. If it was that situation that happened, like if that cop actually killed him, but they can't prove that. Like, supposedly he had drugs in his system.
See, but that's the thing is like,
matter. Being a recovering alcoholic and drug addict, I'm still a fucking human being. You're still a human being. Like, it doesn't fucking matter what somebody was or is. Nobody has the right to fucking take somebody else's life.
Well, even that's like the basis of it. But then you get down to like the Law and Order crowd, you know, and they're like, "Well, he shouldn't have been resisting." It's like, you couldn't breathe.
He wasn't,
and
he
also
couldn't breathe because he was talking.
Right.
So that's.
But I mean, like, it's weird to me how it's kind of portrayed when people are like, "You just need to follow the laws and you'll be fine." It's like a lot of these people aren't doing anything wrong, and the police's function is not to be your judge, jury, and executioner. Their job is to take you to jail so you can see your day in court. But everyone's like, "Well, he was a drug addict, so he deserved to die." And it's like, why? I mean,
nobody fucking deserves to die, man.
The penalty for doing drugs is not death.
No, but it can be.
It can be, but I mean, like, as far as like in the court systems and shit like that, like, you don't just get death for fucking smoking weed or doing heroin or being a meth head and shit like that, you know, like.
But at the end of the day, it was a smokescreen. It was somebody else's agenda. It was QAnon's agenda to try to fucking disrupt the natural order, because there wasn't some big fucking flare up with COVID or a lot. Some people say that it could have been like the precursor to the vaccine or this, that, or the fucking other, whatever, man. It doesn't take away from the fact that somebody had to fucking die.
Right.
And that's not right. I don't think the left or the right will fucking argue that fucking point.
No, and that's right where I'm at on that point. I think at the base of it is a life was taken unnecessarily. Yeah. They had 3 fucking cops there that could have fucking restrained this dude and put him in this police car, but yet they just hung out on him with his knee on the back of his neck for,
like I said, man, it's a smoke screen, and I'm pretty sure those guys. I'm not gonna speak on it. It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, QAnon's stupid. Our old president's stupid. Our new president's stupid. We're just gonna have to fucking fight through it, man. We just have to get there.
That's kind of the goal, is just to keep fighting. Don't fucking lay down and take the shit.
And that's pretty much whatever punk rock you listen to, whether it be pop punk or political punk or crust punk or fucking whatever they fucking label this shit anymore. Like, oh, I don't listen to that because it's not real punk rock. Or like hardcore. Like, I'm a huge fucking hardcore punk rock fan. But I love every fucking form of punk rock. Pop punk. I love it. That's all that matters to me is what it is. Unity. That's your fucking tattoo. Your Operation Tiger tattoo, man. Like, that's what the world needs.
I agree.
So
I don't like being forced, and there's too many people that are always trying to force their agendas on people in the world.
yeah, but those people never get anywhere, Bob.
I think they've gotten pretty far. Some of them
bullies are always going to be there, and politicians are essentially bullies. Let's just get down.
I just mean like the state of the world that we're in. Like I think it's gotten to that point from that.
Well, everybody's sensitive now, though, too. I think essentially what the world needed or needs is a little more forcible change, like maybe an actual riot to see if people don't get scared and actually try to force some change or get something to go differently than the way it is, or not just follow along blindly, like well, he told me to do it, so I better do it. No, dude, that's a fucking terrible idea. Like, you don't jump off a cliff because your buddy did it, right?
Right.
Your mother told you that when you were like, what, 10? Like, oh, he's gonna pull his ball bag out in public. You gonna do it? Well, yeah, I am, but no, dude, there's too much control in the wrong situation, but we have to have a breaking point to get it back. Are we there? We're real fucking close. Especially if they start taking people's guns away.
Also, I think if they start trying to like mandate masks as like a national thing,
they can't. Can't happen.
You know,
people are done with the mask, Bobby. You see it in this town alone. People are fucking done with it. Like nobody agree. We were at Walmart. We were at fucking every Walmart in town yesterday, but I want to say, percentage-wise, 50% of the people in those stores weren't wearing masks.
Oh yeah, like 95% of the guests at the hotel that I work at fucking don't wear their masks, and nobody says shit to them. Not that I really care. I don't think they should have to wear it anyway. But like, if I have to wear it, they should have to wear it.
Well, yeah. Well, with the restaurant thing, or even like just public settings, I think you kind of stated earlier. But if you're afraid, stay home.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna go out in public, wear the fucking mask, man. Even if you don't like it.
Well, that's like even like everyone talks about freedom.
Be courteous to the other person.
Yeah, but even then, like we always talk about
bitch about it.
Yeah, but like every business, like they could put like a sign on the door that says no shoes, no shirt, no service, and nobody says anything. But
and people that don't have any of those items don't go into those places,
right?
They? So why can't it be the same? I see what you're saying. Like, why can't it be the same? Like, if you don't have a mask, don't fucking come in.
Yeah, but I would also like to see like a lot of those people that were saying that I'm not going to frequent any business that requires masks. I would like to see those cowards actually do that, because a lot of them just go into those places without masks anyway. And as far as I'm concerned, like they're breaking that business's rules. They're trespassing.
Well, so the mask mandate in Sioux Falls has been lifted, but it was never enforced because it couldn't be.
Right.
But the people that followed it, the decent human beings in the city of Sioux Falls, which was a great place to live, but you can't force people in the Midwest to do anything.
No. But nobody. That was the thing that bothered me the most about like the people that were against masks in Sioux Falls is like it's a mandate that there's no possible fucking like fee or fine or anything from that. So like realistically, if you don't want to wear a mask, no one's gonna do anything to you in the first place. But they had to all go down to city council and act like their rights were being infringed upon. It's like, dude, just shut the fuck up and do what you're gonna do anyway, because that's what you're gonna do anyway.
Put your mask on. Go to McDonald's. Get your food. Kill yourself slowly. Whatever, man. Don't make other people feel shitty because they're trying to protect their family or they're doing the things that make them feel better.
Right. I also think vice versa too, though.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Some of the people with the masks were super disrespectful.
Don't be a dick about it.
Don't be a dick. Yeah, that's really easy. One rule to life: don't be a dick.
That you could plainly sum this up with: don't be a fucking dick. Because they say it takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. Well, I would assume there's more effort put into being a fucking asshole to somebody than it is just to be a kind soul.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm not perfect. You're not perfect.
No.
I think essentially we're good fucking people, and I think the reason why we're good people is because we have values of punk rock or not being assholes.
Yeah. I was always raised to treat people with kindness and stuff, and like
What's the Midwest like motto?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's why I like, as much as like a lot of people harp on racism, I think there's varying forms of it. I think there's a difference between like that dude who's like the leader of the KKK and like our old racist grandpa. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that it's okay or not okay one way or the other, but like I think there's a big difference between those people, but everyone lumps them all together. Like, I just think there's difference between racism and prejudices.
Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of people are guilty of just roping everyone into one group.
well, it's just lack of communication. There's not I would say like society on a whole, like we're wrapped up into watching TV or watching social media. Like people that bitch about fucking social media, don't go on it. Don't be a part of it. Don't go on the internet if it pisses you off. Don't watch TV. Don't watch CNN. Don't watch this. Don't go buy a newspaper. If the shit pisses you off, don't do it. Like,
but don't tell other people that they can't.
Yeah, don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
Don't be an asshole. Like, do what you want. Don't hurt others. Don't grandstand about shit. Like, if you think you're right or you think that your opinion matters more than the next guy's, it probably doesn't. So
opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one.
It's all like two opinions. That is.
If I had two assholes,
make life a lot quicker. I bet.
I'd get two tongues in there.
2 fart boxes. Fuck yeah.
Oh man. All right. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's good having you on, my friend.
I don't know if we really talked about anything important, but
no, but I mean that's my kind of goal with these is just to get people to have conversations in person, because like it's not as big of a deal for you and me because we're pretty like-minded on a lot of things, but my goal is to have a wide spectrum of people on this show eventually. Like last week I had a good friend of mine who's like super conservative, but he actually came from like a pretty liberal like standpoint and stuff, and like got on the Trump train like after he became, because he started realizing like a lot of like the ridiculous attacks on him and stuff, and like yada yada yada. Regardless, I mean, but like my goal is to just get varying standpoints, you know, get people to realize that we might disagree on a few things like over the internet, but like if we get together in person, we probably agree on a lot more than we disagree about.
Well, it's just easier to fucking get along than it is to fight with one another, and I think that's like people or the mainstream media or the government, they like to see people at each other.
Yeah, keep the poor people fighting with the poor people, and then they'll never worry about the ones at the top.
The poor don't get a fucking thing, man.
No.
Except for when we get them stinnies from Papa Joe.
I call him Joe Biden. Just Joe Biden, like one word, like J-B-I-D-E-N.
Kind of sounds like a terrorist. Well, I guess we don't know if he was a terrorist. Osama bin Laden.
The reason that I came up with that is because like Joe Biden historically has said some racist shit, like some real racist shit.
Even our black president said some racist shit.
I know, but I mean, like they try to champion him as like this big like champion of black people.
He can't even speak though.
No, he can't.
He can't fucking talk to save his. Joe Biden's lucky he remembers like it's not a function like you breathe because you just breathe. You don't have to remind yourself to breathe. But I think Joe might actually have to do that. I think he might be like, oh, I forgot to breathe. Damn it.
Here's the punchline to my Joe Biden joke. They had that Aunt Jemima pancake syrup for a long time.
Yeah, they canceled her ass.
Yeah. So now, since Joe Biden's such a big champion of black people, why don't we get him to be Uncle Joe Biden's? Uncle Joe Biden.
I like it, Bob, but I just don't know if that applies to this.
This might get cut at the end of the episode.
I wouldn't. They ain't gonna cancel shit. Fuck it, man.
I'm not really gonna cut it. I just thought it'd be funny to say.
it's just a conversation. We're not hurting anybody.
Right.
Like, I don't think we said anything too offensive. Like, the things I believe in, I think we just stated, just be a good person, do your best to provide, like, be a decent contribution to the human race,
Yeah.
which I think for some people is kind of hard. But I think it might be hard for him because I think a lot of things are hard for him.
Yeah.
But
like going up the stairs to Air Force One.
the day at work, I just saw that video, and I fucking was trying to walk up the stairs, and I fell up the fucking stairs. Like, oh, I'm fucking Joe Biden, man, I choked. Help me! Everybody's like, you are an asshole. Yes, other people's pain is where I get off, I guess.
Yeah.
Dick and fart jokes.
I love dick and fart jokes. They'll never die for me.
Oh, that's probably why you like Blink-182 as much as you do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, one last thing. So you know how we were talking about MGK?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the dude? He's from Minneapolis originally. Mod Sun.
I've seen that name. I don't know that I would be able to pick out his music.
He's doing something right now with well, I believe he's like trying to like bite off MGK, and he's doing like a pop punk record with Avril Lavigne.
Avril Lavigne
You say-
is actually not really Avril Lavigne.
Well, whoever the fuck she is.
You heard those? Remember you heard that conspiracy theory?
Uh-uh.
Supposedly, like if you look at Avril Lavigne between like the Skater Boy era and then like a few years later, like she looks completely different. Like there was like this. Oh, you know, if you remember with the Paul McCartney,
Yeah.
it's basically the Paul McCartney.
Paul with
fucking
shoes
theory.
and Paul without shoes or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck. Like,
It's not really Paul. It just looks like it.
Yeah.
There's like a. They think
so
that her
apparently the guy
spatial
that we have
structure.
right now, that Sir Paul McCartney, is not really Paul McCartney.
Yes.
He died fucking 30 or 40 years ago. Jesus Christ.
Maybe that's
That
why
is
he
a good
leans.
one, and it wraps up with the John Lennon one. But that one's a little more touchy. It's like the JFK conspiracy. Like, John Lennon was a genius. I'm pretty sure. But I don't know. It's neither here or there.
This is something that I say pretty commonly to a lot of people. It's like I just wish I could like have this magic wand and just wave it, just have the knowledge. Maybe like there's nothing that I can do about things that have happened, but like just to definitively know like who really did kill JFK or what really happened on 9/11 or did we really get Osama? Weird things like that.
Even if we did get Osama bin Laden, I don't think he was the guy behind the fucking. I don't think he did shit.
No, I actually am like 99.9% sure that Saudi Arabia was accountable for 9/11.
Wasn't that, what was his name? Saddam.
Just the country, Saudi Arabia. I think they were behind the funding.
I think it's all. I think 9/11 was done by a giant bat in China.
Some dude that he used to be the head of the CDC came out the other day and he says.
Oh,
he thinks
that
it
doctor
jumped.
fucking. What the fuck is that guy's name?
I don't know, but he said that he thinks it jumped from a bat in the Wuhan lab.
No.
But like most of the scientists in the world, like that have studied it, like you can tell like when diseases are man-made or things like that, and like when I feel like 99% of the scientists in the whole world don't see what this guy is seeing or what some of these people are seeing. Like I don't always trust the experts because I think that sometimes facts can be misleading or like the big lie if you have like 5 people that know the truth about something and then just tell everybody else the truth and then nobody ever knows the real truth. I think that's what more fixes are. I think those are the type of fixes that happen in the world more than anything.
This is a conspiracy theorist to me. I don't know what to believe, and I don't know who to believe anymore.
Lies are just easier
Anthony
to keep
Fauci, is
between
that
small
Fauci?
No, that's the guy who's the head of something right now. He's the main guy. This guy was like the head of the CDC. I don't know if it was during Trump's. It was the guy that was the head
the guy
of
that
this.
they shit camp?
Probably. The guy before whoever's the head of it right now.
They did that a lot in Trump's presidency.
Well, yeah, he fired anyone that wasn't a yes man.
What happened to Space Force, Bob?
It's still going.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's part of the Air Force, I think. I don't think it's actually its own
I wonder if
defined thing.
I bet you I'm too old and probably overweight and I can't be a part of Space Force.
Because like realistically, like Space Force would have been dope as fuck.
Like Star Wars.
Like if I could be in Starship Troopers.
Oh, we're fighting giant bugs and shit.
Hey man, fuck. Let's fuck with. I think that's it. We fucking just hit Starship Troopers. So I mean, we can cut the show.
Yeah.
Thanks for everybody. We had a good episode, and we'll see you soon for episode 6. I shit my pants.
Oh.
All right, Devin. Oh, man. Oh, I always forget to take this off. I just got them a couple weeks ago. They're sweet, though. I was setting up, like, microphone stands and stuff before.
Yeah, I guess I don't watch a lot of podcasts, but, like, the ones I listen to and the ones that I have watched, they're always, they have, like, little microphones in front of themselves. It's like, that seems like it's cumbersome.
Yeah, I was like, fuck, man, it takes up a lot of room in the shot. All that shit. But, I mean, these are fucking cool. I paid $70 and I got 2 of these fucking things.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, man. I think he had to step away. He probably forgot.
So it's still running?
Yeah, but he'll bounce it to me and I'll just cut all this shit at the end.